Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio, the 2nd of June, 2024. In tonight's broadcast, we catch up with Sonny and Buddy. We have a little bit of Bob and Ray. We turn then to an unusual detective, Father Brown. We have the second episode of The Marriage. We move to Father Knows Best. And then X-1. Because of a production problem, my mistake really, we won't be airing the 18th episode of Dam Busters. We'll save that for next week. Instead, we close with In the Name of the Law, the Phantom Gang. Let's get started.
The medicine show doctor who kidnapped Sonny and Buddy is now dealing with men of his own kind, for his own daughter has been stolen by border bandits. We last heard of Sonny and Buddy as they were standing with Doc and Charcoal in the middle of the road, helpless, as the bandit car carrying Betty fast disappears. Now we find our adventurers chasing the kidnapper's car.
There goes them bandits with Miss Betty. They sure enough mean business.
Oh, don't let them take Betty, Mr. Doc. They might kill her.
Please get her back. Give them the $500 if you've got it. Do anything to get Betty back.
All right, I'll give them the money. Catch up with them, Charcoal. Blow the horn. Keep blowing it until you attract their attention. Tell them they can have the $500 now.
Hurry, Charcoal. Go as fast as you can. Don't lose sight of them.
Keep blowing the horn, Charcoal, so they'll hear you and stop.
Faster, Charcoal. Step on it.
Yes, Charcoal. Can't you go faster? Look, they're almost out of sight.
I'm going as fast as I can now. Well, move over and let me have the wheel. I know I can get more speed out of this car than you're getting.
They keep speeding up. Oh, if they could only hear the horn.
Mr. Doc, maybe they think we're chasing them because we want to turn them over to the police. If we could just let them know that we wanted to give them the money, they might stop. Isn't there any way we can signal them?
I'm going to try.
No, don't try. Get back there. You're liable to fall off and get hurt.
Do you still see them, Sonny?
Yes. Look, there they go. They're turning off into a side road. Betty! Betty!
Oh, she can't hear you. Oh, confound this car. Why won't it speed up? I'm afraid we've lost it.
Here, turn in this road. This is the way they went.
Well, there are two roads here. Which fork of the road did they take?
Why, I don't know. I couldn't see them after they made the turn.
Well, we'll try this one. It looks like it's traveled most. Look at yonder, Mr. Doc. What is that ahead of us stretched across the road? Well, get out and see what it is, Charcoal.
It's a log. This is a closed road.
Well, the bandits evidently didn't take this road. They must have turned off at the forks. We'll go back that way.
Look here, Doc. Look what I found on the road, right by the log.
A lady's handkerchief.
With a ring tied to it. Why, that's Betty's ring. That's the one we gave her when she joined our club.
That's it. Don't you see? Betty tied the ring to the handkerchief and dropped it as a sort of clue for us to follow, hoping we'd find it.
She figured we'd stop here at this log, so she dropped the ring for a signal.
Which means that they did take this road.
Of course they did. And this log was just put here to throw us off the track.
That's it.
Well, we'll soon find out. Here, Charcoal, help me lift this log off the road. Hurry.
Can we help?
No. You boys get back in the car because we don't want to lose any time. All right, Charcoal, take hold of that end of the log. Sure is heavy, ain't it? Up she goes, and away she goes. That's one obstacle out of the way. All right, come on now, and let's get going. That other car has a good start on us.
I'll bet anything the bandits put that log there just so they could get a good start on us.
Of course they did. They knew we'd follow them, and they put that log there to slow us up. Oh, gee, I hope Betty knows we're following her so she won't lose hope.
She must know that we're following her. Else why would she drop the handkerchief with a ring tied to it?
Well, keep on the lookout, because she may leave another sign.
What's that ahead of us?
It's a man standing in the road, waving his arm.
He's trying to wave us down.
Well, sir. Oh, Buddy, hand me my gun back there. This may mean trouble. Slow down, Charcoal, and let's see what this man wants. What's the trouble, mister?
Un automóvil pasó con una muchacha gritando. Tiró esta carta.
Mexican and he can't speak English. Can you boys understand or speak Spanish?
Well, I can a little. ¿Qué dice usted?
Hace un rato que un automóvil pasó en esta dirección con una muchacha, gritó y tiró esta carta.
He says something about a girl in an automobile screaming and dropping this letter.
Well, let's see the letter.
Why, that's our letter. The one Betty wrote for us to our mother. She was writing it when the bandits came.
Well, this proves we're on the right trail, all right. She dropped this for a second signal.
Look, there's something written on the envelope. Letters of the alphabet. Buddy, it's the secret code of our club. Get a paper and pencil and figure out the message as I call out the letters.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. D-Z-G-X-S dash ULI dash HVXIVG dash HRTM dash YY dash. And it's signed Betty. Got it figured out, buddy?
Yeah, it says, watch for secret sign BB.
And look, there's something written on the back of the envelope. It's in Betty's handwriting. Read it, Doc.
Yes, it's from Betty, all right. She says, Dad, the bandits know you are following them and have ordered me to write this note. If you are ready to pay the $500 they demand at once, place the money in an old coffee can which you will find on the mantelpiece in a little shack at the top of the hill. Then drive your car to the foot of the hill, blow your horn 3 times, and that will be the signal that the money is paid. Wait there, and I will be released as soon as they find the money. But they warn you not to try to trick them if you ever wish to see me alive again. Dad, please do as they ask.
You're going to
Betty.
do it, aren't you, Doc?
You must do it if you don't want them to harm Betty.
Of course I'm going to leave the money. I'd give them $10,000 if I had it, just to get Betty back. Shack at top of hill. Oh, buddy, ask the Mexican boy if the car with the girl went straight ahead.
Fue el automóvil en esta dirección?
Sí, señor.
Muchas gracias.
Here, buddy, give him this $1 for his information.
All right. Aquí está $1 por su información.
Gracias, señor.
Now, keep a sharp lookout for all shacks.
Look, isn't that a shack just ahead of us? See, behind those mesquite trees?
Lord Almighty, I sure is getting nervous, Mr. Doc.
Well, you'll have to keep up your nerve now, Charcoal. You'll need it.
I'm so scared that the chills are running up and down my spine like a window shade.
Stop the car right here, Charcoal. There's a shack right there.
Come on, Sonny, and don't forget what Betty said. Keep on the lookout for the secret sign BBs.
Do you see the secret sign anywhere?
Not yet. Buddy, you go around that side of the house, and I'll go this way.
Okay, Sonny, and hurry.
All right.
See it, boys?
No, it's not around here.
Here it is. I found it. Here's a BB on the window.
Oh, boy, we found her. Open the door quickly and see if Betty's inside.
Wait a minute, boys. Let me go inside first. You can't tell who may be hiding in that shack. Okay, the shack is empty. Come on in, boys.
And look, there's the coffee can that Betty spoke about. There on the mantel.
Well, give it to me. Quickly, let me put in the money. $500. Well, it just about breaks me, but I don't care if I only get Betty back.
Now put the can back on the mantel and let's hurry to the foot of the hill and give the signal. Come on, let's go.
Get going, Charcoal, and make it snappy.
I was just thinking how funny it would be if some old tramp would come wandering in that shack and get hold of that money.
Well, what would be funny about it? He'd know it didn't belong to him.
Yeah, but suppose you come inside of some inserted old cabin and found $500 in an empty coffee can. You'd take it, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Your mama didn't raise no dumb children.
Besides, no one would have a chance to get in that cabin, because those men are very likely watching every move we make.
Just think. The bandits may be standing behind one of those trees right now, and maybe they have guns pointed at us.
Oh, Lord of mother, sonny, don't say that. Does you want me to drop dead right here at this steering wheel?
Okay, Charcoal. We're at the foot of the hill. Stop the car and give the signal. Betty said to blow the horn 3 times, didn't she?
Yes, sir. And here I goes.
What's the matter, Charcoal?
What are you waiting for?
Why don't you blow the horn?
I can't. It won't blow.
Won't blow.
I reckon we blowed it so much when we was chasing them bandits that we must have broke it.
Oh, why would that horn fail to work at a time like this? Just when so much depends on it. Get out of the way and let me see if I can fix it.
Oh, now the bandits are liable to think we're not going to give them the money, and they may harm Betty.
I think I found the trouble. It's just a loose wire. Everybody make a wish that the horn works this time. Here goes. Oh, the mother, that old horn never did sound so sweet before.
I wonder how long it'll be before they let Betty go.
Well, the note said as soon as they receive the money.
Oh, why doesn't she hurry? I can't stand this suspense much longer. I never realized until now just how much Betty means to me.
Well, Mr. Doc, you can see now how our mother feels about us, and why we're so anxious to let her know where we are.
Yes, but that's different. You boys are safe with me.
Yes, but our mother doesn't know that. Listen, it's Betty.
Here we are, Betty, at the foot of the hill.
There she is. I see her. Come on, let's go meet her.
Oh, come on, boys. Let's meet her. Betty.
We're glad to always
You're safe. You're safe. Come inside the house car and lie down and rest and tell us about your experience.
Oh, Daddy. Daddy, I'm so happy. I don't know what to do. to laugh or cry.
Gee, Betty, don't cry.
No, don't cry, Betty. You're not supposed to cry when you're happy. Gosh, we're too excited to cry.
Oh, I don't think I've ever been so excited before.
I ain't been so excited since the hogs ate up my little brother.
Charco. Say, Betty, did the bandits hurt you?
Did they get the $500 that Dad left in the coffee can?
Betty, tell us what the bandits said and did.
Yeah.
Well, when we arrived at the shack at the top of the hill, the bandits declared they would get even with Dad if he refused to give them the $500. They were planning different ways of getting even with him. I was sitting there trembling, begging and pleading with them to let me go. Suddenly, one of the bandits started coming towards me, his eyes blazing with anger at the thought of losing the money. He kept coming nearer, nearer, nearer. Suddenly, I looked up and...
What's the matter?
Look! Look!
What? Where?
There! That face at the window!
What's happened to her?
Betty, speak to me, dear.
What's the matter? Is she
Oh, Betty,
bad?
come, dear.
Betty,
What's the matter
with
Come on,
get
get
some
the
water
water
quickly.
quick.
That's
Oh,
it,
Betty,
that's
what's
it.
happened?
Whose face did Betty see at the window of the house car? We'll know positively in the next chapter of The Adventures of Sonny and Buddy. You heard Doc say that he didn't realize how dear Betty was to him until she was gone. And there is the moral in tonight's episode. Be as kind, good, and obedient as you can to those whom you love. And then when they're gone, you'll have no regrets. Ask your mother if this isn't true.
Once again, we've had our scouts searching the railroad and bus stations around the city for victims of misfortune who need a helping hand from our generous Bob and Ray organization. And our first hard luck story is that of Mr. Jerome Eberhoff of Cleveland, Ohio. I understand, sir, you're trying to get to Switzerland to make the dream of a lifetime come true.
Yes. I've taken lessons for 20 years now from one of the top yodeling teachers in Cleveland. And I'm convinced I'm ready to make my public debut, but I can't do it till I get to Switzerland.
Because yodeling concerts don't draw much of a crowd in Cleveland, is that it?
Well, not that so much. You can't get a good echo there like you do in the Alps. You see, every place in Ohio is too flat. You know, you yodel, and that's it. Nothing comes back.
That must be frustrating.
Oh, you said it. But I'm sure I've got what it takes to do classical concerts on the Matterhorn, but I can't get there to use my great talent.
Well, you've touched us all, sir, and to help you out, we're giving you a fine mohair tuxedo with genuine satin lapels.
Well, that's nice, but I don't see how it gets me to Switzerland.
Use it in good health, that's all, sir. And here is our second hard luck storyteller, a lady, Mrs. Effie Barnhorst of Wenatchee, Washington. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Washington, yes.
According to your card, ma'am, you're trying to get to England to take care of some vital personal business. Is that right?
Well, it's personal in a way, but it involves a lot of other people, too. You see, I recently discovered that I'm the rightful Queen of England.
So you want to go there and claim your throne, is that right?
Yes. I've got nothing against the girl who's holding the job now, but I know my rights.
Well, I don't know whether you have much chance.
Well, you see, my Aunt Esther was married to a Cuthbertson, and his cousins were all in-laws of Queen Victoria on Prince Albert's side. So my late father really should have taken over when the Duke of Windsor abdicated.
Well, you've painted a clear and a convincing picture, I'd say. And to ease your heartbreak in being unable to claim what's rightfully yours, Bob and Ray Organization wants you to have this high-quality blower for your coal furnace. It's from Mr. Paul of Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't have a coal furnace at home. I imagine the one at Windsor Castle already has a blower if it needs it.
You're entirely welcome, ma'am. And finally, Here's a gentleman who wants to go to Monte Carlo to take part in a fishing tournament. Mr. Felix Worley of Elko, Nevada.
No, it's not a fishing tournament. It's the World's Championship Go Fish tournament. Go Fish is a card game.
Yeah, I've heard it. It's usually played by children, isn't it?
Oh, I guess a kid might be able to learn the fundamentals if he was real bright. But it's a terribly complicated game the way grandmasters like me play it.
Yeah.
You see, we deal out the cards, and then I say something like, "Give me all your jacks." And if you don't have any, you say, "Go fish."
I think that's pretty much the way I've seen it played by 7 or 8-year-olds, yeah.
Well, I'm sure I could beat almost anybody in that age group, but I'm set for a series with the Russian Go Fish wizard, Boris Splatny.
Splatny.
But I got to get to Monte Carlo where the tournament's being held.
Well, it's tragic to hear of a person's dream about to be broken, but luckily for you, we can help. We have a lovely ceiling light fixture from Emmerich's Lamporama in North Platte, Nebraska for you, sir.
That's nice, but I don't have a ceiling just now. I'm sleeping in the park.
Our best to you, sir. And for now, that's all the time we have for Hard Luck Stories. And now, Mushies, the great new cereal that gets soggy even without milk or cream, brings you another exciting story of adventures starring Tippy the Wonder Dog. As we look in on the isolated cabin of Grandpa Witherspoon today, we find that a hurricane warning has been posted throughout the valley. Gramps is lying on his cot with a blanket pulled up to shield himself from the approaching storm. Meanwhile, little Jasper stands in the front window watching the rain and wind mount to a furious intensity. Suddenly, the boy turns and speaks.
It sure is blowing hard out there, Gramps.
Well, consarn it all, I know it's blowing hard out there. The storm is going to smash all the windows in this house before that fool dog of yours gets back with the lumber I need to board them up.
You don't need to have a moment's concern about that, Gramps.
Yeah.
Tippy's always at his best in time of disaster. He'll be here with the lumber any minute now. He's the finest, the smartest dog in the whole wide world.
Well, what's keeping him? I always did the hard part, measuring the windows and tying a note around the fool dog's neck saying how many board feet of timber I need.
Well, I guess Tippy might have stopped just long enough to double-check your figures. But I know he'll be here soon. He's the greatest, the smartest dog in the whole wide world.
Well, consarn it all, there was nothing to double-check but a simple column of figures, and I sent that fool dog to the lumber yard 3 days ago.
Well, hey, I think I see him coming up the road now, Gramps. Here, Tippy.
All right, where'd he put the lumber? I gotta get to work.
Sorry, Gramps, that wasn't Tippy I saw. It was just the Charmant's Beagle headed home with a can of kerosene in case the electric lights go out.
Consarn it all, every other dog around here can make it through an 80-mile-an-hour wind to do a simple errand, but that fool Tippy's probably taken cover in a hollow log someplace.
Oh, for shame, Gramps. You know Tippy would never put his personal safety ahead of ours.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's the grandest, the smartest. Oh, hey, wait. I see him coming now. Here, Tippy.
All right, consarn it all, hand me my rain slicker and I'll start boarding up the windows.
Not yet, Gramps. That wasn't Tippy after all. It was only the little mixed breed of the Kippermans. He was headed up that way with a coil of rope to lash down their farm implements.
Yeah, that mutt's not worth what it costs to feed him, but he's still a darn sight smarter than that fool Tippy.
Oh, gee whiz, Gramps. You should have let your mounting fear cause you to say terrible things like that. Gosh, Tippy's the swellest, the smartest. Oh, hey, wait. I see him for sure now, staggering up the path through the howling gale to save us in the nick of time. Come on in, Tippy. That's a good boy. Oh, what a good boy.
All right, consarn it all, where'd he put the lumber? On the porch?
He didn't bring any lumber, Gramps. I guess he had all he could handle carrying this old pie pan I used to throw for him to fetch.
I'm going to whirl that fool dog around by his tail and send him flying into the next county.
No, wait, Grants. Don't you understand?
What?
Well, Tippy's trying to show us that we can use this old pie pan for a rain gauge. And then when our readings show that the rain has stopped, we'll know that the hurricane is over. Okay? Boy, gosh, it really took some clever thinking for Tippy to solve our problem that way. But it's just like I told you, he's the brightest, smartest dog in the whole wide world.
Today's fantastic story of adventure has been brought to you by Mushies, the great new cereal that gets soggy even without milk or cream. Join us again soon for more incredible action starring Tippy the Wonder Dog.
Believe it or not, my dear listener, but there was a time when my friend Father Brown neither enjoyed, if such a sentiment can be attributed to so modest an individual, nor for a moment anticipated the fame which his later adventures as a detective would have thrust upon him. My story belongs to that particular period of the past. It is derived partly from scraps of reminiscence let drop by Father Brown himself, partly from information gleaned from other sources, and in some degree, I must confess, from the exercise of my own imagination. To my mind, the episode is significant in that it marked not only a milestone in Father Brown's career, but the start of an improbable friendship which was to have considerable influence upon the course of his life. In order that you may form some visual impression of the subject of my story, I should tell you that Father Brown was a small, rotund man with a mild manner, a face as round as a Norfolk dumpling, and eyes of deceptive innocence. Above his clerical habit, he wore a black shovel hat and invariably carried a large, shabby umbrella. At that time, he was parish priest in a small Essex village, which accounts for his presence on the crowded boat train from Harwich one fine autumn morning. Among the folk descending the gangway that day, one passenger stood out by reason of his singular height and huge proportions, coupled with the fact that he wore the garb and shovel hat of a priest of the Catholic Church. Crossing the platform with all the confidence of a seasoned traveller, he settled himself in the corner of a second-class compartment of the waiting train.
Oh, excuse me, sir, but I fancy you're sitting on the tail of my little boy's coat.
Oh, I beg your pardon, madame.
Oh, it's quite all right, sir. You move along a bit now. Come near and meet Tommy with the reverend gentleman. That's better, ain't it, sir?
Thank you. You are most kind.
Might I trouble you for the right time, sir? I notice you're wearing a watch.
Certainly. It's precisely 9:30.
Thank you. You wouldn't happen to know when we're due at Liverpool Street?
No, I'm afraid not. You see,
Oh, about 11:20, I reckon. Leastways, that's what the young fellow in the ticket office said.
Dear me, I hadn't realized it took so long.
Oh, well, the train stopped several times on the way, like picking up passengers, you see.
Ah, yes, I understand.
Morning, all. Any room for a little one? Come on, Rover, boy. Get in.
No, Tommy, no.
No objection to the dog, I say. It's quiet as a lamb, be. Under the seat, Rover, all that. There.
Oh.
Good boy. Here, my word. That were a narrow squeak, weren't it? You caught it by the skin of my teeth. It was sort of rushing you, was I?
Whittam! Whittam! This is Whittam! Change here for Braintree! Whittam!
Oh, good morning, Father Brown.
Good morning, Doctor.
Did you get there?
I'm rather leaving this morning, I'm afraid.
Morning, passes are you on, sir? Don't want to leave them behind, do we?
Oh, no. I mustn't do that, must I?
You'll be all right now, sir.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be all right. Oh, how careless of me. No, I do beg your pardon, ma'am. But you see, Oh, bless my soul, there's another of them. Oh, dear me. There goes my umbrella now. Oh, a dog, eh? Oh, I do hope I didn't wake him. Yes. Oh, well, this is too much.
Here, let me lend a hand, Your Reverence.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you have your own pretty full.
Yes, I do.
There's plenty of room in the wreck here. So safe.
Ah, yes, most thoughtful of you. So kind of you.
Let's have that one, then.
No, not that one, please. No, that's a very precious parcel. It has silver in it, you see. It's only made of real silver. Silver with blue stones. I will be very careful with that one. I'd better keep it on my knees. Just to say, if I may sit down. Oh, dear me, I never thought the train would be so full.
Oh, there's a place beside me. Here, sir, my little boy. Sit on my lap. That's right. Get up.
That's
Get up.
very kind.
Give the Reverend Gentleman your seat there.
Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, yes.
That's your left, sir.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Well, you see, it's most important that I don't let this parcel out of my sight. Otherwise, I might forget it, mightn't I? Church property, you know. The Eucharistic Congress at Westminster. I beg your pardon, sir. I'm afraid I'm encroaching on you. This parcel of mine is of such very awkward proportions.
Oh, not at all. Let it rest on my knee. We should all help to bear each other's burdens, should we not? Particularly men of our club.
Dear me, oh, I do apologize. In my confusion, I hadn't noticed your clerical habit. Birds of a feather, are we not? Allow me to introduce myself. Brown is my name. Parish priest of Little Soken.
Then who's Deacon?
Oh, I'm delighted to make your acquaintance, sir.
Oh, the pleasure is mine.
You come from abroad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, from Utrecht.
Ah, Utrecht. That is in the Netherlands, is it not?
Ah, that is so. A beautiful city.
I envy you. I've had little opportunity for travel myself.
No?
But I have visited Rome.
Indeed?
Yes, indeed. I shall never forget my first sight of St. Peter's. The magnificence, the sheer immensity of it all. Supreme triumph of man's creation. And of God's, of course.
Of course.
So different from my own small church of Little Soken. Would it be inquisitive of me to inquire what brings you to England at this time?
The same mission as your own, I suspect.
Eucharistic Congress?
Just so.
Dear me. What a strange coincidence that we should meet here in this train and on the same pilgrimage. Of course, as an obscure parish priest, I do not expect to play any great part in the deliberations at Westminster. Or, for that matter, any part at all, save that of humble spectator. But it is my privilege to be on this occasion the bearer of a gift, which I hope may bring pleasure to our brethren there assembled.
Indeed. May I ask what form this present takes?
Certainly. It is contained in this very parcel. It is, in fact, a cross.
A cross?
A very ancient cross, wrought most exquisitely in silver and inset with precious blue stones of great rarity. Oh, it's a most beautiful thing, believe me, and one of great historic interest.
Historic, you say?
Yes, indeed.
And probably of immense value.
Oh, yes, sir.
You intrigue me greatly. I have some knowledge of such treasures indeed. I am regarded by my friends as being rather more than a mere amateur in that field. I think I may even claim to be, in my own small way, an ardent collector of objets d'art.
A most rewarding hobby, I have no doubt.
Rewarding? Ah, yes. But pray, tell me more about this cross. Its history, for example.
Oh, with pleasure. Well, you should first know that some little time ago, dangerous cracks appeared in the fabric of our east wall at Little Soken. And it became necessary to reinforce the ancient foundations of the church.
Continue, please. I am all ears.
Well, in the course of the extensive excavations which followed, one of the workmen struck his pick against some hard metal obstruction, which at first he was quite unable to identify.
Yes?
And further digging unearthed an object wrapped in layer upon layer of thick sacking. Now, when these wrappings were removed, the rough outlines of an antique cross were revealed. tarnish and the passage of time had done their work, of course, and it was only after much careful cleaning and expert examination that the true value of our discovery became evident. It is this self-same cross that I am now carrying.
See you now, sir. Thank you. Sir?
Come in, Valentine, my dear fellow. Glad to see you.
Commissioner.
Constable, bring a chair for the inspector. Will you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sit down. Make yourself at home. Thank
You.
What brings you to Scotland Yard on this fine morning?
I can answer you in one word, Colonel. Flambeau.
Flambeau?
Yes, Flambeau. He's in England.
Oh, not again.
You remember him then?
As if I could forget him. And what is our arch-villain up to this time?
It seems that once again our friend Flambeau has given the Sûreté the slip.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It appears that they tracked him from Paris to Gand, from there to Brussels, and finally to the Hook of Holland.
Mm-hmm.
After lying low for a day or two, he succeeded in crossing the channel by last night's ferry boat from the Hook. He should have arrived at Harwich early this morning, and by this time is almost certainly somewhere in London.
And now it's up to you to find him.
That is my task. Will you permit it if I smoke a cigarette?
Oh, of course, go ahead. No use my offering you one of mine. I know you only smoke Caporal. Any idea of why Flambeau should be here? You said you had a theory.
I have. The Eucharistic Congress now taking place in London. You know about it, naturally.
Naturally, it'll be hard to avoid knowing. The streets of Westminster are black with clerics of every shape, size, and nationality, from cardinals, bishops, and monsignori to the most youthful of pink-cheeked deacons. That's given my fellows quite a job sorting out their various problems. Most of these reverend gentlemen have never set foot in London before.
Precisely. That is why it occurred to me that our friend may have taken advantage of the arrival of so many strangers, and chosen this particular moment to slip into the country unnoticed.
I take your point, Inspector.
He would, I imagine, most probably travel as some minor clerk or secretary connected with the Congress. In the unfamiliarity and general confusion, the presence of one more strange face would pass without comment.
He'll be dressed as a priest, you think?
I do.
Can you be sure?
Nobody can be sure about Flambeau. But he's a master of disguise, and nothing would amuse him more than to mingle with these clerical gentry as one of themselves. Fortunately for us, there's one thing which, with all his dexterity of disguise, he cannot conceal. His great height.
Stands something like 6'4" in his socks, doesn't he?
He does.
But, Valentine, friend, you're not telling me that Flambeau has come to London merely to satisfy an overdeveloped sense of humor?
Certainly not, Colonel. In an assembly such as this Congress, there should be rich pickings for a man of his ingenuity and discernment. Apart from the personal trappings of the prelates, the croziers, the insignia, the rings, the cathedral itself houses a collection of immensely valuable church plate, gold, silver, and the like. Some of this will be on display throughout the Congress.
Thank you for the warning, Inspector. Well, naturally, we're keeping a close eye on things, but it's as well to know from which quarter danger may threaten. But tell me now, how can I assist you?
If things go well, I may need to call upon the service of 2 of your men, one at least of inspector's rank. I cannot say when the occasion may arise, but I shall need authority from you to summon help when it comes.
Nothing easier, my dear fellow. I'll write out a note to that effect right away. You're sure 2 men will suffice?
Oh, that number should be ample.
Here you are, Inspector. This should meet your requirement.
Thank you, sir.
Where do you propose to begin your search? The cathedral? It's the obvious place.
With Flambeau, nothing is obvious. For him, it is always the unforeseen. I shall seek him out in the most unlikely places. I'll probably take a look inside the cathedral, just in case.
Well, it could be anywhere, of course. It'll be nothing less than a miracle if you run into him.
I agree, Colonel. But the most incredible thing about miracles is that they sometimes happen. Oh, dear me, so late. Well, sir, I mustn't occupy your valuable time any longer. I'm greatly obliged to you for your help.
A pleasure, my dear fellow. Anything we can do, you know. Good day to you, and the best of luck.
Well, a man must begin somewhere. And the cathedral's as good a start as any, I suppose. Not much hope of spotting my man in this vast multitude. Tall priests, short priests, fat ones and thin, and nothing to be seen from here save their backsides. Better try my luck from higher up. Oh yes, these steps should lead up to the gallery. Of course I could be wrong. He may not be passing himself off as a priest at all. That was pure conjecture on my part. He could be anything from a tall tramp on Wimbledon Common to a tall toastmaster at a fashionable hotel. For all I know, he may not even be in London. However, let us see what there is to be seen. A sea of heads. Heads with hair and heads as bald as billiard balls. Heads uplifted and heads cast down, heads that bob and heads that bow. And I can't catch a glimpse of a single face. It would be reasonable to suppose that he might be numbered amongst this congregation, but with Flambeau one does better to follow the train of the unreasonable. That is more likely to lead to his eventual discovery. Yes, my best chance lies in seeking him out in the most improbable locations, ignoring all the right places and searching only the wrong. A shop that stands empty, a cul-de-sac that leads to nowhere, some obscure little restaurant or cafe which no one in his senses would dream of entering. Oh, a restaurant, that reminds me. I had no time for breakfast this morning, and I'd give anything for a cup of coffee. If the search is to be a long one cannot afford to neglect the inner man. A restaurant, then. A modest one for choice. There must be many such in this vicinity. Pimlico is noted for such places.
Your coffee, sir.
Ah, thank you, waiter.
Is there anything else you would care for?
Yes, there is. Bring me a poached egg, if you please.
Certainly, sir. 1 egg or 2?
Oh, 1 will do.
On toast?
Certainly on toast.
Very good, sir.
I had no idea I was feeling so hungry. Now, where's the sugar? Ah, here we are. I wonder what he's up to at the moment. The trouble with him is that you can never tell. A slippery customer, that one, and no fool either. Oh, he has a brain, all right. But mine's just as good. There's always one danger, of course. As I never stop telling my young chaps at the Sûreté, the criminal is the creative artiste, I say to them. The detective is only the critic. Oh, nom de Dieu! I must have put salt in this coffee instead of sugar. But that is a sugar basin, all right. Only it's full of salt. And yet, there's a salt cellar just beside it. Sugar. Salt where the sugar should be, and sugar where one would expect to find the salt. What manner of place is this, where they put salt in the sugar basins and sugar in the salt cellars? There must be some explanation for such a singular exchange. Waiter!
Coming, sir, coming. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Here's your poached egg now, sir.
Never mind my poached egg. Test this.
Taste which, sir?
What's in this sugar basin? Go on.
It's salt.
Of course it's salt. But what is it doing in the sugar basin?
That I do not know, sir.
Do you play this delicate joke on your customers every morning?
No, sir. Excuse me. I will fetch the proprietor at once.
What an amazing thing. Yet except for this singular eccentricity with the sugar and the salt, the place appears neat, and apart from that dark splash on the wall, clean and ordinary enough. Puzzling. Distinctly puzzling.
I'm sorry to hear of your complaint, sir. I can't account for the matter at all. Excuse me. Yes, this is certainly salt in the basin and sugar in the salt cellar. Well, I'm at a loss to find an explanation. I'm completely dumbfounded.
Sir.
Yes, what is it, Angelo?
I think it is those two clergymen.
What two clergymen?
The two clergymen that threw soup at the wall.
Oh, threw soup at the wall?
You see, that splash on the wall there. That is where they threw the soup.
Yes, sir, it's quite true. Though I don't suppose it has anything to do with the sugar and salt. You see, two clergymen came in and drank soup very soon after we'd opened for the day. Well, they were both very quiet, respectable people, and the only thing remarkable about them was that both wore shovel hats, while one was very short and the other very tall.
Tall, you say? How tall?
Oh, well over 6 foot, certainly. Yes, one of them paid the bill and went out. The other, who seemed a slower coach altogether, was some minutes longer getting his things together. But he went at last, only the instant before he stepped into the street, he deliberately picked up his cup, which he'd only half emptied, and threw the soup slap on the wall.
Which one? Which one threw the soup? Come, tell me.
Oh, I can't remember. You see, I was in the back room when it happened, and so was the waiter. I could only rush out in time to find the walls splashed and the shop empty. Well, it didn't do any particular damage, but it was confounded cheek. I tried to catch the men in the street, but they were too far off. I only noticed that they went round the corner into Carstairs Road.
Carstairs Road? Where's that?
That's first on your left as you go out of the door.
Quick, my hat and stick. I must be off.
Going, sir, but your poached egg.
Damn my poached egg. Just give me my bill.
It is there, beside you on the table, sir.
Oh, yes, so it is. Here's half a crown. You may keep the change, my man.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day. First left, he said. This must be the street, then. It's unlikely they linger here, but it may lead to some clue. That shop I just passed, the greengrocer's. There was something unusual about it, something that caught my eye. What could it have been? I'll go back and look. Ah, yes, I was right. Very strange. A heap of nuts labeled best tangerine oranges to a penny, and on this pile of oranges, in bold blue chalk, finest Brazil nuts, 4 pence a pound. A highly subtle form of humor, which I fancy I've encountered quite recently. Excuse me, sir.
Hello?
Are you aware that your sales cards appear to have become mixed?
What do you mean, mixed?
Take a look.
Well, I'll be chicken. Oh, super, that right.
Forgive the apparent irrelevance, my good sir, but I should like to ask you a question.
Well?
Why, may I ask, are 2 tickets placed in a greengrocer's shop like a shovel hat which has come to London for a holiday?
Yeah. Is this some kind of riddle?
I'll put it another way, if you like. What is the mystical association which connects the idea of nuts marked as oranges with the idea of 2 clergymen, one tall and the other short?
Well, I don't know what you have to do with it, but if you're one of their friends, you can tell them from me that I'll knock their silly heads off, parsons or no parsons, if they upset my apples again.
Indeed. Did they upset your apples?
So one of them did. Rolled them all over the street. I'd have caught the fool but for having to pick them up.
Which way did these parsons go?
Up that second road on the right hand, sir, and then across the square.
Thanks. I'm much obliged to you. Ah, there's a police officer. Perhaps he'll have noticed them. Constable, this is urgent. Have you seen 2 clergymen in shovel hats?
I have, sir. And if you ask me, one of them was drunk. He stood in the middle of the road, that bewildered.
Which way did they go?
They took one of them yellow buses over there. Them that goes to Hampstead.
I'm Inspector Valentin, Paris Sûreté. Here's my official card and authority.
Oh, yes, sir. How can I help you?
Call up 2 of your men to come in pursuit, quick as you can.
As easy done as said, sir. There's one of our inspectors on the other side of the road. If you'll wait here a second, I'll fetch him over. This is the gent, Inspector. Well, sir, and what can we do?
I'll tell you on top of that omnibus, Inspector. Come on, follow me, and bring the constable with you.
That's all very well, but I'm supposed...
You heard what the gentleman said. Come on and look sharp about it.
You know, we could go 4 times as quick in a taxi.
Quite true. If we only had an idea of where we were going.
Yeah, well, where are we going?
If you know what a man's doing, get in front of him. But if you want to guess what he's doing, keep behind him. Stray when he strays, stop when he stops. Travel as slowly as he. Then you may see what he saw and may act as he acted. All we can do, Inspector, is to keep our eyes skinned for a strange thing.
What sort of strange thing do you mean?
Any sort of strange thing.
No, my dear Brown, one of the strangest things we've discovered about ourselves is that we are both blessed with the same sense of humor.
So it would appear.
Oh, take no notice, my friend.
I have no intention of doing so. Oh, besides, I left a large enough tip to pay for the damage.
You mean to say you poked your umbrella through that window, having first left the money to pay for it?
I do.
Oh, that's wretched, upon my word. Did you see the fellow's face? Anyhow, they served up a first-rate meal. No, this way, my friend, and up the hill. I know a quiet little spot where we can very well resume our interesting discussion. You know, my dear Brown, your interpretation...
Imagine in your mind's eye, dear listener, the sight of that yellow omnibus crawling slowly on up towards the northern heights of the great city. As London died away in a succession of draggled taverns and dreary scrubs, the long roads of the northern suburbs seemed to shoot out into length after length, like an infernal telescope. It was like one of those journeys on which a man feels that now at last he must have come to the end of the universe, and then finds he has only come to the beginning of Tufnell Park. By the time they'd left Camden Town behind them, the 2 policemen were already half asleep. Then suddenly, Valentine leapt up and struck a hand on each man's shoulder.
Wake up! Wake up! Did you hear? Driver!
Stop the bus, if you please. We have to get off.
Quick, my friends. Follow me.
Look, Inspector. Over there.
What's up? I can't see anything strange.
That restaurant on the other side. The place with the broken window. Our clue at last.
Look, what proof is there that broken window pane has anything to do with them?
Proof? Good God. Don't you see that we must either follow one wild possibility or go home to bed? Come on. In any case, it's high time we all had something to eat. Waiter, the bill, if you please.
Coming right up, sir. Here we are, sir. I think you'll find everything all fine and correct.
Thank you. Got your window broken, I see.
Yes, sir. Very odd thing, that was. Very odd.
Indeed. Tell us about it.
Well...
No. Keep the change.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Well, you see, 2 gents in black come in. Foreigners, I reckon. 2 of them parsons that are running around. They had a cheap lunch. One of them paid for it and went out. The other one was just going out to join him when I looked at me change again. I found he'd paid me more than 3 times too much. Here, I says to the chap who was nearly out the door by this time. Here, I says, you've paid me too much. Oh, have we? He said, very cool. Yes, I says, and I picks up the bill to show him. Well, that was a knockout.
What do you mean?
I could have sworn that I'd put 4 shillings on the bill. But now I saw I'd put 14 shillings, as plain as paint.
Well, and then?
Well, the parson at the door, he says, sorry to confuse your accounts, but it'll pay for the window. What window, I says. The one I'm gonna break now, he says. And with that, he smashes a blessed pane with his umbrella.
Good hell, I never. Are we after escaped lunatics?
Well, I was so knocked silly for a second I couldn't do nothing. Man marched out of the place and joined his friend. Then they went so quick up Bullock Street that I couldn't catch 'em, though I ran out into the road as fast as I could.
Come on, the two of you. We're on their tracks at last.
Get a move on, Wilkins. Don't lag behind.
It's me feet, Inspector. They're killing me.
Yeah, well, never mind your feet. Pull yourself together, Ballard. Remember, you're a police officer.
I'll do my best, sir, but we must have walked miles.
Any idea of where we are, Inspector? It's difficult to tell in this light, sir. I reckon if we go on as we are, we'll strike some part of Hampstead Heath eventually.
And that's where they're making for, without a doubt.
And we better make inquiries again, sir. Somebody may remember seeing them.
Why not? There's nothing like confirmation to encourage hounds, even on a hot scent. That little sweet shop, for instance, with the gas-lit window. Come, let us inquire within.
Oh, good evening, sir. Can I help you?
If you would be so kind. We were wondering...
Close that door behind you, Constable.
Yes, sir.
Oh, the police, is it? Well, if you've come about that parcel, I've sent it off already.
Parcel?
I mean the parcel the gentleman left, the clergyman gentleman.
For goodness sake, mademoiselle, tell us what happened exactly.
Well, two clergymen come in about half an hour ago, brought some peppermints and talked a bit, and then went off towards the heath.
The heath, you say?
Yes, but a second after, one of them runs back into the shop and says, "Have I left a parcel?"
And had he?
Well, I looked everywhere and I couldn't see one, so he says, "Never mind, but if it should turn up, please post it to this address." And he left me the address and a shilling for my trouble.
And did it turn up?
Yes, sure enough, though I thought I'd looked everywhere. I found he had left a brown paper parcel, so I posted it to the place he said. Someone in Westminster it was, though I can't remember exactly. But the thing seemed so important, I thought perhaps the police had come about it.
So they have. Is Hampstead Heath near here?
Straight on for 15 minutes, and you come right out in the open.
Thank you, mademoiselle. You've been most helpful. Come, Inspector. We've no time to lose.
The street they threaded was so narrow and shut in by shadows that when they came out unexpectedly onto the void common, they were startled to find the evening still so clear. What was left of daylight lay in a golden glitter across the edge of that popular hollow which is called the Vale of Health. The holiday makers who roamed this region had not wholly dispersed. A few couples sat shapelessly on benches, and here and there a distant girl still shrieked on the swings. The glory of heaven deepened and darkened around the sublime vulgarity of man. And standing on the slope and looking across the valley, Valentin beheld the thing which he sought. Two figures clad in clerical black, the one much smaller than the other.
There they are, on the other side of the veil. That's our man, Inspector, the taller of the two. Come, make haste, or we may lose them in the gathering shadows.
But even as he hurried forward so confidently, Inspector Valentin felt obliged to ask himself a number of puzzling questions.
It's all very well, but what's the explanation of it all? It's not surprising that an actor like Flambeau, dressed as a priest, should lead some silly little unsuspecting sheep of a clergyman to Hampstead Heath, but with what purpose? And what has he to do with chucking soup at her, calling nuts oranges, or with paying for windows first and then breaking them? And how does a brown paper parcel come into it? It seems that I've arrived at the end of a chess, but I've somehow missed the middle of it. When I've failed in the past, and I seldom have, I've usually grasped the clue, but nevertheless missed the criminal. Now it seems I'm about to grasp the criminal, but still cannot grasp the clue.
The two figures that they followed were crawling like black flies across the green contour of a hill. They were evidently sunk in conversation, and perhaps did not notice that they were walking towards the wilder and more silent heights of the heath.
Careful how you go, or they may hear us. Big Bob, it's them boots of mine. Can't control themselves. We must get nearer, and without being observed. Better get behind that holly bush. They've sat down the bench, sir. I can just make out the pair of them. Against the trees. After me, Wilkins. Come on. Right, sir. There. Ready? Yes. Then down on our bellies, we must crawl towards them through the long grass. Right. En avant, then. Forward. Quiet now.
Oh,
what is it now, Wilkins?
Me helmet, Inspector. It's got caught in a bramble.
Then take it off and carry it, man. Quiet.
Ah, yes. But who can look at those millions of worlds beyond and not feel that there may well be wonderful universes where reason is utterly unreasonable?
No, reason is always reasonable, even in the lost borderland of things. I know that people charge the church with lowering reason, but it's just the other way. Alone on earth, the church affirms that God himself is bound by reason.
Yet who knows? If in that infinite universe...
Only infinite physically, not infinite in the sense of escaping from the laws of truth. No, reason and justice...
Well, they seem harmless enough, those two old parsons. Oh, that talk's a bit above me. You sure you haven't made a mistake, sir? No, it's not possible.
Well, you can imagine any mad botany or geology, and please, think of forests of adamant with leaves of brilliance, on plains of opal, under cliffs cut out of pearl, you would still find a notice board, "Thou shalt not steal."
Sounds like he's preaching a sermon to me.
The mystery of heaven is unfathomable. But I, for one, can only bow my head. Now just hand over that sapphire cross of yours, will you? Did you not hear me? You see, I am not the man you took me for. I am Flambeau.
Flambeau. I was right.
Come. Will you give me that cross?
No.
No? No. You won't give it me, you little celibate simpleton. And shall I tell you why? Because I've got it already in my own breast pocket.
Are you sure?
Yes, you turnip. I am quite sure. I had the sense to make a duplicate of the right parcel. And now, my friend, you've got the duplicate, and I've got the jewels. An old dodge, Father Brown. A very old dodge.
Yes, I've heard of it before.
You have heard of it? Where?
Well, I mustn't tell you his name, of course. He was a penitent, you know. He had lived prosperously for about 20 years entirely on duplicate paper parcels. And so, when I began to suspect you, I thought of this poor chap at once.
Began to suspect me?
Indeed.
Did you really have the gumption to suspect me just because I brought you up to this bare part of the heath?
Oh, no. You see, I suspected you when we first met. You were far too interested in the cross I was carrying. But really what gave you away was that little bulge up the sleeve where you people wear the spiked bracelet.
How in Tartarus did you ever hear of the spiked bracelet?
Oh, one's little flock, you know. When I was curate in Hartlepool, there were 3 of them with spiked bracelets. So, as I suspected you from the start, I made sure that the cross should go safe anyhow. I'm afraid I watched you, and I saw you change the parcels. Then, don't you see, I changed them back again, and then I left the right one behind.
Left it behind?
Yes, in that sweet shop, do you remember? I went back and asked if I'd left a parcel, and I gave them a particular address if it turned up. Of course, I knew I hadn't, but when I went away again, I did leave a parcel. So instead of running after me with it, they've sent it flying to a friend of mine in Westminster. I learnt that, too, from a poor fellow in Hartlepool. He used to do it with handbags he stole at railway stations. But he's in a monastery now. One gets to know, you know. We can't help it, being priests. People come and tell us these things.
I don't believe you for a moment, but I can soon make sure. Nothing but paper. Paper and sticks of lead. Oh!
Do you believe me now?
No, I do not. I don't believe a pumpkin like you could manage all that. I believe you've still got this stuff on you. And if you don't give it up, we're all alone here. I'll take it by force.
No, you won't take it by force. First, because I really haven't still got it. And second, as I've just this moment observed, we are not alone.
What the devil do you mean?
Exactly what the reverend gentleman said, Flambeau. You are most definitely not alone.
Inspector Roland!
You here?
Yes, and with 2 strong policemen to back me up. No, stay where you are, Flambeau. The game is up.
It is my duty to warn you, sir, that anything you say
All right,
may be taken
Inspector,
down.
let me deal with this. Now, Flambeau, I understand.
How the devil do you come to be here? Might I be allowed to tell him, Mr. Inspector?
If you wish.
You asked Monsieur Flambeau, how did these gentlemen come here? Well, I think I may claim to have brought them. You? How did I do it, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you if you like. Lord bless you, we have to know 20 such things when we work among the criminal classes. Oh. You see, I couldn't be sure you were a thief, and it would never do to make a scandal against one of our own clergy. So, I tested you.
Tested me?
To see if anything would make you show yourself. You see, a man generally makes a small scene if he finds salt in his coffee. If he doesn't, he's some reason for keeping quiet. A man generally objects if his bill is 3 times too big. I altered your bill, and you paid it.
What on earth are you talking about?
Then, as you wouldn't leave any tracks for the police, somebody had to. At every place we went to, I took care to do something that would get us talked about for the rest of the day. I didn't do much harm. A splashed wall, spilt apples, a broken window, but I saved the cross, as the cross will always be saved. It is at Westminster by now. I rather wonder why you didn't stop it with the donkey's whistle.
With the what?
I'm glad you've never heard of the donkey's whistle. It's a foul thing, a murderous weapon. But if you've never heard of it, you can't have gone so very wrong yet.
How in blazes do you know of such things?
Oh, by being a celibate simpleton, I suppose. Has it never struck you, Flambeau, that a man who does next to nothing but hear men's real sins is not unlikely to be wholly unaware of evil? But as a matter of fact, another part of my trade, too, made me sure you weren't a priest.
And what was that?
You attacked reason. That is bad theology.
There you are, Flambeau. You've heard what the gentleman had to say. Now I must ask you to accompany us, and I advise you to make no attempt at escape.
Very well, Inspector Valentine. I know when I am beaten. I am, I hope, an artist and a sportsman. I congratulate you and bow to your superior skill and judgment.
Do not bow to me, mon ami. Rather, let us both bow to our master.
You mean, Father?
Precisely.
With the greatest pleasure. Your Reverence.
Thank you very much. But I wonder, has either of you 2 gentlemen seen my umbrella? I seem to have mislaid it in the darkness.
That was The Blue Cross, adapted from the G.K. Chesterton novel by Archie Campbell. You heard William Rushton as the narrator, Leslie French as Father Brown, Francis de Wolfe as Flambeau, and Neville Jason as Inspector Valentine. Other parts were played by Betty Huntley Wright, Brian Haynes, Leslie Heritage, Hugh Ross, Stephen Thorne, Kevin Brennan, Eric Allen, and William Slay. The production was by Christopher Venning.
In many foreign lands, wherever wine connoisseurs gather, they enthusiastically praise the distinguished character of Roma wines. Such praise of Roma wines in foreign lands can only mean that they are truly magnificent in quality. Roma wine's excellence is due to a unique combination of California's perfect soil and climate, from whence come the choice Roma wine grapes, plus age-old winemaking skill and modern knowledge. These combine to make Roma constant in quality, uniformly fine, unexcelled in value. Tomorrow, discover for yourself the delightful Roma taste and goodness enjoyed by more Americans than any other wine. Simply serve as an appetizer before dinner a cool glass of golden nut-like Roma California sherry. Then on the table, place a bottle of cool, hearty Roma Burgundy. You'll be pleasantly surprised at the extra delight it adds to your meal, how it will win new compliments from family or guests. Yet, the cost is only pennies a glassful. Get Roma wines tomorrow. If your dealer is temporarily out of Roma, please try again soon. Ask for ROMA, Roma wines. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
You'll be pleasantly surprised when you discover how Spam baked for dinner is a real taste tester that satisfies the family completely. That's because Spam, S-P-A-M, is a perfect blend of sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat and tender ham, seasoned in a better way, cooked to a delicious extra goodness. Plan a meal around baked Spam. It's so easy. Just open a can of Spam, place the meat in a shallow baking dish, and bake according to the recipe on the label. In a jiffy, you'll take to the table a main course so distinctive in meaty flavor, so filled with lip-smacking satisfaction that the family will say, Spam is really elegant eating. Give the folks baked Spam tomorrow. The easiest to get, best to eat dinner you've had in a long, long time. But start right and get the real thing. Be sure to ask your food dealer for S-P-A-M, Spam. And then you'll be happy like Susie in the story, who found...
Susie winked her eye, and Sam passed her by, but baked Spam for dinner was the way she got her guy.
The National Broadcasting Company's sponsorship of this program constitutes no endorsement of the opinions, philosophies, stubbornness, or confusion of the persons represented therein. However, with the conviction that marriage remains the most popular domestic arrangement between friendly people, NBC takes pleasure in presenting one of the most distinguished couples of the American theater, Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin, as Liz and Ben Marriott in the new dramatic series, The Marriage.
Do you remember that article about highbrows and lowbrows? Well, I wouldn't say that Liz and I are exactly highbrow. We're somewhere in the middlebrow classification. We like a Gershwin ballad and a Cole Porter musical, but on the other hand, we enjoy Mozart and Beethoven and Stravinsky. And we like to think that the kids will go along with this. Emily went to the children's concerts at the Philharmonic for one season, and Pete... well, Pete's another story. As a matter of fact, this story. It started on an evening when Pete and I were alone in the living room. Pete,
Yeah, Pop?
what's that you're humming?
Oh, just a song.
Sounded familiar.
It's not very popular.
I thought you were humming Beethoven's 8th Symphony.
Sure. The words are easy, too.
Words? To Beethoven's 8th?
Sure. Beethoven, he was great. In his symphony we call the 8th.
Where did you pick that up?
In school. Music appreciation.
You appreciate that?
Sure. Why not?
Come on, Pete. Come
Pop.
on. No, it's all right. Just come on. Liz!
In the kitchen.
Liz, I have discovered a new art form.
What are you talking about?
Listen to this. Go ahead, Pete. Give her the Beethoven.
Oh, Pop.
Beethoven?
Go ahead, Pete. It's all right. There's nothing wrong.
Well, okay. Beethoven, he was great. In his symphony we call the 8th.
Any more, Pete?
Sure. Amaryllis is by geese.
I never knew.
Any more?
Sure, lots of them. Narcissus is a flower of wood and stream. It came to Ethel Burton Evans while in a dream.
Is nothing sacred?
Liz, do you realize what's going to happen? Every time they meet a piece of music, it'll have one of these singing commercials tied to it, like a tin can on a dog's tail.
I don't mind, really.
I know what you mean. Someone once told me that champagne tasted like vinegar and seltzer, and ever since it has.
Like the Bach B minor Mass with additional lyrics by Irving Berlin.
Ben, are you really upset? Or is it just an excuse for coining epigrams?
Think what they could do with Tchaikovsky or Schubert.
Schubert? I know one by him.
Which one?
This is the symphony that Mr. Schubert never finished.
I know why. He knew this would happen. I don't even dare repeat the lyrics to the Moonlight Sonata. I hadn't given Pete's school much thought in a long time, but a few nights later it came up again. I was writing a brief, a creative literary masterpiece, because the law wasn't very strong on our side. And Liz was helping Pete with his homework.
What were the principal contributions of the ancient Egyptians?
Pyramids, papyrus, hieroglyphics, and mummies.
Is that all?
Isn't that all it says in the book?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, then that's all.
Do you know what the pyramids were, Pete?
Sure. One of the principal contributions of the ancient Egyptians.
No, I mean what they were used for.
Mom, this is homework.
I know, but the pyramids are very interesting. Maybe we could look it up in the Book of Knowledge.
All we're supposed to know is what's in the book.
Well, don't you want to know?
I haven't got time.
Ben. All right, Pete, let's go on.
Okay.
Tell me about papyrus.
What?
Papyrus, you just said it.
You didn't ask the right question.
Well, what do you mean?
You've got to ask the question the right way, like in the book.
Oh, you mean, what were the principal contributions of ancient Egypt?
Pyramids, papyrus, hieroglyphics, and mummies. See?
That's ridiculous.
Ben, you're working. Pete, how about the rest of your subjects? Spelling, reading?
I don't have to do them.
Oh, you don't?
No, it's the same as last year.
The same as last year?
Ben, you're brief.
What do you mean it's the same as last year?
We're doing the work all over again, that's all. Miss Whitaker says it's easier.
Oh, she does. Tell me, Peter, what is this Miss Whitaker like?
Old and very strict.
And you heard her say that it was easier to do last year's work over again?
Sure. Hey, Pop, what is this, a cross-examination?
No, of course not.
Oh.
Liz, do you realize that this... But if the teacher is giving a...
Later.
I suppose Liz was right. Shouldn't be discussing Pete's teacher in front of him, even if she did need a little undermining. Later turned out to be when we were going to bed.
Do we need a quilt?
Not tonight. Liz, about Pete's school.
I suppose the class is overcrowded.
That's no excuse. Last year's work. How do they expect a child to keep up that way? It's disgraceful. Liz, you know, the trouble with us is that we ship the children off to school and forget about them.
Oh, do we? Ben, open the window.
Do you realize that Pete spends 5 hours of every weekday with her? What do we know about this teacher? Old battle axe that's supposed to be educating our child.
Well, we don't know that she's an old battle axe, for one thing.
Peter says so.
I don't think he's a very reliable witness.
Oh.
You're on my side. Shove over.
No sense in minimizing the problem, Liz. You ought to look into this school business.
I ought to. Pete has a father, too. I don't know how many times I've asked you to come to those PTA meetings. You agree that they're important, but you always manage to find an alibi.
Well, now, most of the evenings I've been working.
Oh.
You let me know when the next meeting is, and I'll make it.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow?
8:30.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do a little digging about this last year's work business.
You may find a PTA meeting a little elusive.
Don't worry. I've had some experience in cross-examination. When I want to find out something, I'll get the facts.
Uh-huh. Ben, you get up and turn off the light.
We arrived at Pete's school 5 minutes early. I wanted to have a chance to buttonhole this Miss Whitaker and get the truth out of her. The building was like many other schools in New York, built sometime in the 1890s and remodeled to the extent of having indoor toilets. The general effect was that of a steel engraving of the Tower of London at the execution of Anne Boleyn.
What's the matter?
Is this it?
Well, don't you remember?
I never saw it after dark.
Distinctly Charles Adams, isn't it?
Oof.
We're room 502. Come on.
Where is she? Liz, which one is she?
Miss Whitaker was there across the room. The one with the gray hair.
In the black bombazine?
That's not bombazine.
Looks as though it ought to be. Come on. I want to get to her before the meeting. Excuse me. Excuse me, please.
Well, hello there. Hello.
Hello. Excuse me.
I don't believe we've met, have we?
No, excuse us.
I'm
please.
Dr. Carnahan.
Oh?
Well, how do you do, ma'am? I always like to meet the mothers of my children.
What? Excuse me a minute.
Ben, Dr. Carnahan is the principal.
Oh. Well, I'm Ben Marriott. How are you, Mrs. Marriott?
Our Pete is in the 5th grade.
I was trying to reach his teacher.
Miss
over
Whitaker?
there. Yes. There's something very important. Excuse me.
I'll tell you a secret. Yes, I will. I don't mind if it leaks out at all.
Excuse me. Miss Whitaker,
Exactly. You guessed it. If they asked me what I couldn't do without, I'd say, take away the visual aids, take away the Sanford Binet intelligence test, but leave me Miss Whitaker. Yes, sir, she is a teacher's teacher.
I'm sure of it. I just wanted to ask her
Yes,
one
sir, your
thing.
little girl's very lucky to have Miss Whitaker.
It's a boy.
It is? Well, congratulations. I never would have guessed it, ma'am. And when he grows up, he'll have Miss Whitaker, too.
Isn't Miss Whitaker close to retirement age?
Whitaker is like the brook,
Oh?
Mr. Marriott. Men may come and men may
yes,
go.
yes, I
but
know.
I go on forever. Oh, that is Miss Whitaker, you understand, not I.
I understand. If you'll excuse me.
I always like to meet my parents. And now, are there any questions that you might want to ask about the school?
Well, as a matter of fact, yes.
Ben.
Good.
It's about the level of the work in the 5th grade.
That's a very good question.
But I haven't asked.
It shows a very sound grasp of our whole educational problem here.
But you don't
it's
know
a pleasure,
what I'm...
you know, to meet a parent with that much knowledge of pedagogy. Well, if you'll excuse me, it's about time I started the meeting.
The meeting was chaired by one of the mothers, a young woman who seemed to have committed Robert's Rules of Order to memory. Dr. Carnahan was called on to say a few words. Having been given this inch, she took a mile.
And I want to welcome you 5th grade parents, many of whom I once knew as 4th grade parents.
It's been going on for 20 minutes. I want to
I
ask a
have
question.
one other announcement. With the high percentage of Spanish-speaking children from Puerto Rico enrolled in the school, we're planning a Caribbean festival in order to bring our parents closer together. That is, the separate sets of parents. It will be on Wednesday the 12th, and we're hoping for a 100% turnout of parents.
Question.
Particularly the fathers.
I've got a right to
Now, I'd be
ask
very
a
happy
question.
to sign up volunteers.
Ben, put your hand down.
I see a hand. There's a volunteer.
He means you.
Ah, yes, Mr. Marriott. I'm glad to see a father taking the lead. We're very glad to have you.
What did I do?
The first meeting is next Friday night.
Meeting?
Of the 5th grade Fathers Caribbean Festival Committee. You've just volunteered.
The meeting went on and on. Afterwards, when Liz and I left the old building, we stopped and looked up at it.
This is the new part, Ben. When the rear wing was built, Ulysses Grant was in the White House.
Look at those windows on the first floor. Colored paper cutouts.
That's the kindergarten. It's sort of pathetic. That terrible gray stone front and those little splotches of color.
Yeah, well, come on.
I warned you, PDA meeting might prove elusive.
I spotted that Whitaker woman right after the meeting while you were getting your coat, and I'd have reached her, too. But I was soaked up by Dr. Carnahan again.
He is a little absorbent.
Yes, he wanted to congratulate me about volunteering.
The 5th grade Fathers Caribbean Festival Committee. South America, take it away.
I'll get out of that.
Ben, you wouldn't chicken out.
Elizabeth, if you'd been in the Army, you wouldn't say that. What gets me is that I wasn't able to get any kind of an answer from that Whitaker woman on Pete's repeating last year's work.
Well, you did accomplish something.
That isn't all I accomplished. I ran around Carnahan's end, and no mean feat, by the way, and managed to catch Miss Whitaker before she went back into the woodwork.
What did you find out?
Nothing. Carnahan was bearing down on me on the starboard tack, but I'll find out.
At the next PTA meeting?
No. Tomorrow night. I invited Miss Whitaker to dinner. I broached the subject of our expected dinner guest at breakfast.
Oh, no, Pop, no.
You have some objection, Pete?
Oh, no.
Well, what is it? Don't you like Miss Whitaker?
Sure, but she's a teacher.
I know. That's why we're having her.
But you don't have teachers to dinner.
Well, we have lots of guests to dinner. You've never objected before?
You never had a teacher before.
How about Uncle Arthur? You like him?
He just teaches school. He isn't a teacher.
You mean he isn't your teacher?
That's right. Look, Pop, suppose I tell her you're sick. Or I could tell her Emily has the mumps.
Never mind. We've invited Miss Whitaker to dinner, and she's coming.
Oh, no.
You've said that.
Can't you explain why you're so upset?
Well, Teachers are teachers. Over here. And parents, well, they're parents. Over here.
And never the twain shall meet, eh?
But what if somebody should find out?
Pete, I think you're making too much fuss about this. We're just interested in your schoolwork.
Mom, he's going to cross-examine her.
Never mind, dear. You go get your tie on for school.
But, Mom...
Go ahead.
I've got some rights, haven't I?
See what I mean?
No.
Our child is afraid to have a teacher come to dinner. Why?
Ben, it's just his sense of propriety. Children are very conservative.
What have politics got to do with it?
Not politics. He wants situations he's used to. The teacher in school, the parents at home. When you get it mixed up, he gets nervous.
Sounds as though he'd got something to hide.
Well, that isn't it at all. I hope.
Well, once I get that Whitaker woman here, I'll get the truth.
Ben, Pete's right. You can't cross-examine her. Not when she's our guest.
There are some things that are more important.
Pop!
What is it?
I could tell you broke her leg.
Don't bother.
Well, maybe you will.
Being somewhat uncooperative about these things, I managed not to break my leg by evening. Emily neglected to contract the mumps, so the dinner went off on schedule.
Pete, would you like another helping of potatoes?
No, thanks. I'm not hungry.
Oh, Miss Whitaker?
Oh, no, thank you. This is fine.
Well, Miss Whitaker, very nice meeting you this way. There's so many things I want to talk to you about.
Mom, can I have some more potatoes? Pop, would you please pass my plate?
Oh, certainly. Well, Miss Whitaker, you know, I wanted to speak to you at the PTA meeting, but now we can have a real talk.
Pop, my plate.
Here you are. Let's see. Oh, yes. You know, there are a number of questions about the schoolwork,
Gravy,
which I think...
please?
What was that?
Would you pass my plate for gravy, please?
Here you are, Peter. Don't you think you could decrease the traffic up and down my side of the table?
I'm sorry.
Well, what was I saying?
I knew that if I had a chance to speak to you.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'll withdraw that.
Ben.
I mean, it isn't just Peter's marks, you understand.
Oh?
Tell me, Miss Whitaker.
I know a riddle.
Pete, I'm talking.
I'm sorry.
That's better.
It's a real good one.
I'm sure Miss Whitaker hears enough riddles all day, Peter.
Oh, no, I collect them.
All right. Go ahead, Pete.
What did the bop musician say when he saw the end of the movie Salome with the head on the silver platter?
We all give up.
Man, dig that crazy dessert. I read that in the newspaper this morning.
Are you quite finished, Peter?
I'm afraid so.
Well, Miss Whitaker, what I've been trying to get out of...
It is amusing.
Oh, what is, Miss Whitaker?
That crazy dessert.
Dinner went on over a number of conversational barricades hastily thrown up by Peter as he retreated to a defense in depth. Finally, dinner was over.
Cigarette, Miss Whitaker?
No, thank you.
Well, Pete, guess you better go into your room and start on your homework.
I thought maybe I could do it after Miss Whitaker left.
Peter, go ahead.
Well, good night, Miss Whitaker.
Good night, Peter.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, dear.
Pete?
I'm afraid Peter doesn't seem very hospitable.
Oh, children never do. They're always embarrassed, afraid their parents will make a faux pas.
Now, Miss Whitaker, I'm glad to be able to talk to you.
So am I, Mr. Marriott.
You see, frankly, we were disturbed by a number of things, and I made up my mind to find out.
I see.
Do you feel... No, let me put it this way. Don't you agree that the most important attitude a child can develop is the desire for knowledge?
I suppose so.
Ah. Then, don't you agree that the job of the teacher...
No.
Well, I haven't asked the question.
But I don't think you have to. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to see you. It's about the job of the teacher.
But,
Mr. Marriott, do you know how many children are in your son's class?
Well, no.
54. There should be only 20. Do you know how many teachers were appointed in this city last summer and failed to report for their jobs?
No, I read something about that. I don't remember the number.
200. At least 3 in our school. Why, one of the new teachers quit to take a job driving a brewery truck at an increase of 30% in pay. And he didn't need a master's degree for that.
Miss Whitaker, I realize that the school system is in difficulty.
Well, now, that's not the point I'm making, Mr. Marriott. I'm not a financial expert or an economist. I'm interested in the children and in their parents.
The parents?
The only thing that can change our school situation is the parents, because I can't do that job alone, and I know it.
Now, that's something I wanted to ask you about.
For example, now, what do you do to supplement the school program, Mr. Marriott? Do you take Peter to the museums, on trips around the city? Do you help him select radio and television programs that have some positive value?
Well, yes. To a certain extent.
Of course, you'll be participating in the school program, and I think that's very constructive of you.
I will be?
Well, yes, the 5th grade Fathers Caribbean Festival Committee. You're one of the few volunteers.
Oh, yes.
Of course, I told Dr. Carnahan it was a mistake. I don't think you meant to volunteer.
Well, as a matter of fact, I wasn't...
so few fathers are interested enough in the school program.
Well, I'm interested.
Now, for example, we wanted to get someone who's used to public speaking to act as master of ceremonies, perhaps an attorney.
An attorney?
But so few professional fathers seem to have a sense of responsibility to the school.
I don't think that's true.
You don't?
No, I think, well, attorneys have as much sense of responsibility as anyone.
Enough to volunteer as master of ceremonies for the Caribbean Festival?
Why, yes, of course. As a matter of fact, I'm a lawyer myself.
Yes, I know. I'll tell Dr. Carnahan he can count on you as MC. Well, I think this has been a very constructive meeting. And now I think I'd just better say good night to Peter and be off. I've really had a lovely time.
When I came to bed that night, Liz had a shawl over her head and a rose between her teeth. All right.
Seriously, Ben, what did you think of Miss Whitaker?
Well, I don't know. She's a bear on cross-examination.
I was awfully impressed. She's such a dynamic woman when you consider her age. She's over 60.
You notice she ducked my questions.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I think she answered all of them, in a way.
How about Pete's repeating last year's work? I didn't even get a chance to bring it up.
No, you didn't at that.
Well, I'll find out about it. I'll see her again.
At the fiesta?
And that's another thing. I thought that was pretty low.
But you volunteered.
When I was in the Army, the sergeant used to say, I want 3 volunteers for a detail. You, and you with the glasses. That was always me. Miss Whitaker must have served in the same platoon. On Friday night, the 5th grade Fathers Committee met in the school auditorium under the direction of that eminent Latin American, Dr. Carnahan.
All right, gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's proceed with the organization of our little band. Mr. Schultz, you're playing marimba. Mr. Garcia, the guitar. Mr. Fernandez, the bongo drum.
Bongo, si.
Well, let's see who is left over.
I am.
Oh, yes, Mr. Marriott. How do you feel about the maracas?
Well, I can take them or leave them alone.
Well, all right. Here you are.
Like that?
More or less. All right, now, if you'll just come in when I give you the downbeat. You start, Mr. Marriott. 1 and 2. Mr. Marriott?
They got caught in my cuffs.
All right, now. 1 and 2 and... Is that all you can get out of them, Mr. Marriott?
I kind of froze.
Do you have trouble with your coordination, Mr. Marriott?
Certainly not.
We need rhythm, Caribbean rhythm. Diddy.
These don't go diddy.
Mr. Marriott, we borrowed these instruments from the kindergarten rhythm band.
I'll try again, Dr. Carnahan.
Perhaps it'd be better if we saved you for the MC portion. Would you mind just sitting down and waiting?
But I can do it.
Thank you.
I could learn.
I'm sure you can, Mr. Marriott, but time is limited, you know. All right. The rest of you gentlemen, 1 and 2. I
was a little depressed, so I went out in the hall to get a smoke. there's somebody out there already smoking. I borrowed a light from him.
Here you are, senor.
Oh, thank you. You a fifth grade father?
Huh? Oh, see, my boy, fifth grade, see.
I'm Ben Marriott.
I, Fernando Ramon.
How do you do, Mr. Ramon? Are you in this Caribbean Festival affair?
Festival? Oh, yes. I seen son from Puerto Rico.
Oh, then you really know what you're doing. You're from Puerto Rico, aren't you?
From San Juan, see. My family come here just last month.
And your boy's in school already? My, that must be pretty hard. Does he speak English?
Un poquito. He learned a few words in Puerto Rico, but he very good boy, fast. He learned much faster than his father did in night school.
No, I suppose that's always the way. How does he like the school?
Oh, very, very much, mostly. They very good in this school for Spanish-speaking boys. The others help teach.
Oh, you mean there are extra teachers?
No. The teacher said to the English-speaking boy, you help Jose. So they read last year's book to make it easy.
Last year's? They did last year's work so that the kids could help each other?
Así fue la cosa, señor. My Jose, he tell me his friend, very good teacher, talk about him all time, all day long. Pizza. Must be very fine boy.
Yes, I think he must be.
What's the matter, Pop?
I just wanted to talk to you.
In the middle of the night?
I was at the school tonight. You ought to keep covered up. I met one of the fathers, Mr. Ramon.
Ramon? That must be Joe's father.
I had quite a talk with him.
You did?
He told me that his boy, Jose, liked school very much.
Well, he hasn't been here long.
Peter, when you told me you were doing last year's work over, why didn't you tell me that it was so you could help Jose?
You didn't ask me. Is that all, Pop?
You don't mind helping Jose? Don't mind doing that work over again?
Why should I?
Well, don't you get bored repeating the same thing over again?
Look, Pop. Joe told me the first week he was in New York, he got lost downtown, around 34th Street. He couldn't speak more than a few words of English. He kept asking people how to get home, but nobody could understand him. He went to a policeman, and they took him to the police station.
Go on.
There wasn't anyone who could speak Spanish. I was thinking how I would feel, lost, and nobody I could talk to. Nobody who could understand anything I said. You see?
I see.
This way, if Joe learns how to talk English and read okay, he doesn't have to be scared. He can take care of himself. Anyway, Miss Whitaker says we'll both be learning something important. You know, I don't know what she means. Joe's the one who's learning, not me.
I think I know what she means.
Is there anything else, Pop?
I don't think so, Peter. Good night.
Good night, Pop.
Ben and Liz Marriott will be back in just a moment. In the meantime, let us extend an invitation on behalf of our stars, Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin, as well as the National Broadcasting Company, to all of you to drop by next week at this time for another half-hour observation of The Marriage. Today's story was written by Ernest Kenoy with Irene Hubbard as Miss Whitaker, Wendell Holmes as Mr. Carnahan, and Juano Hernandez as Mr. Ramon. David Pfeffer was heard as Pete. The Marriage is an NBC Radio Network production, directed by Edward King. This is Bob Denton speaking.
Ben, you mean he took the maracas away from you?
Didn't even give me a chance. But I'm ready for him.
You are?
Mr. Emon said it was only fair. Pete was teaching his Jose English. He'd teach me the maracas. Listen.
Mother, is Maxwell House really the only coffee in the world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Yes, it's Father Knows Best, transcribed in Hollywood, starring Robert Young as father. A half-hour visit with your new neighbors, the Andersons. Brought to you by Maxwell House, the coffee that's bought and enjoyed by more people than any other brand of coffee at any price. Maxwell House, always good to the last drop. In every family, there are special days. Days which, though simple, will live forever in our memories. There's the day Junior had his first haircut. The day Dad backed into the garage door. Or the day Mother didn't back into the garage door. In Springfield, in the white frame house on Maple Street, it's dinner time. And one of those days is in the making. It will be known as long as an Anderson remains as the day Father received the Christmas bills. Like this.
It's outrageous, that's what it is. The most outrageous thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Pass the potatoes to your father, Betty.
Yes, Mother. Potatoes, Father.
Thank you. It's gotten so that Christmas isn't a period of joy and celebration. It's a plot to collect all the money overlooked by the government. I've never seen such an assortment of bills.
Kathy, won't you please eat your dinner?
But I have to watch Daddy.
I'm sure he'd much rather you ate your dinner.
But I want to see the steam come out of his ears.
The what?
Well, Bud said when you saw all those bills...
Holy cow, Kathy. I didn't mean it really would. I was just, you know... It sure was cold out today, wasn't it?
Well, for certain people, it's going to get warmer. Much warmer. Now the bread, please.
Here you are, Dan.
Thank you.
Say, Dad...
Look at this. $17.70 for mucklucks. Now, what the devil are mucklucks?
They're knitted slippers, dear.
For $17.70?
That's for 6 pair, Jim. I sent them to my sister Kathleen and her family.
Oh, fine. And what did she send us? 5 napkin rings painted by hand in the kindergarten of a school for backward children.
Jim, that's not the proper attitude to take.
Oh, it isn't it? You don't see that brother-in-law of yours shelling out any $17.70 for mucklucks, do you? I tell you, Margaret, we've got to realize that we aren't the Morgans or the Rockefellers. We're just plain, simple people, and we've got to act that way.
Yes, dear.
Say, Dad.
When I was a boy, thrift was an important part of the daily life. The family worked together to see how little it could spend, not how much. They tried to help put something away for a rainy day. Not us. This family lives in a continual cloudburst.
Dad.
What is it, Bud?
As long as we're talking about money, I need $5.
Bud.
Oh, that's fine. That's just great. I give out with a long lecture on thrift and economy, and all it does is remind my son that he needs $5. Now, why do you need $5?
To be a bird watcher.
A what?
A bird watcher. You watch birds.
I wouldn't care if you watched elephants. Why does it have to cost $5?
Well, you have to buy a manual. It tells you how to watch. And you get a button. And they have meetings every Tuesday and Thursday night.
No.
But, Dad, watching birds makes you alert.
No.
It gives you a better understanding of your feathered friends.
No.
And it's educational.
No.
Oh, gosh. You certainly want me to be educated, don't you?
Yes.
Then I can go?
No.
Oh.
Would you care for some more coffee, dear?
I certainly would, thank you.
I'll bet Evelyn Finney's a bird watcher.
You keep out of this, Kathy.
Bud's got a girl.
I have not. You just wait, Kathy. That's all. Just wait.
Bud's got a girl.
Dad.
All right, Kathy, stop that and drink your milk.
But I did. It's all gone.
Well, get some more milk and drink it.
Gee whiz.
And behave yourself. Now, where was I?
The part about putting something away for a rainy day.
Thank you. Rainy day. Oh, look, I don't want you to think I'm being stingy or that I don't want you to enjoy a healthy, normal life, but what's that?
What's what, dear?
On the buffet, is that another album of records?
Oh, you ought to hear them, Father. They're simply dreamy.
You see, that's what I mean. A new album, and we've got so many records now we can join the Disc Jockeys Union.
Do disc jockeys have a union, Daddy?
How do I know?
Well, you just said
I said if they had a union, we could join it.
Why?
Because we have so many records.
Are you going to be a disc jockey, Daddy?
No, I'm not going to be a disc jockey.
Why not?
Because I'm an insurance jockey. I mean... Oh, Kathy, drink your milk.
I did. Twice.
Well, eat your cake.
I don't have any cake.
What have you got?
Jell-O.
Well, eat it and be quiet.
Gee whiz. Father, there's no need to get excited about the record.
Now, don't tell me what to get excited about and what not to get excited about. You have no right to waste money on more records.
But, Father...
$5 for bird watchers and $5 for records.
They cost $7.50.
$7.50? Betty Anderson, you mean those records cost $7.50?
Yes, Father,
Oh,
but...
that's fine. Just fine. We've got records you haven't touched in 5 years, but they're no good. You've got to buy new ones for $7.50.
But, Father...
When I was a boy, I couldn't buy a new record till the old one wore out.
But, Father...
I played Dardanella so long the fuzz on the turntable came through.
But, Father...
And stop but-fathering me. You have no right to waste $7.50 on records.
But, Father, I didn't. I borrowed them from Janie Liggett.
I don't care where you got them. You have no right to... Oh. Well, where was I?
A rainy day, dear.
Page 2.
All right, laugh. Go ahead. The whole thing is a big joke. It's very funny. But I'm telling you right now, we're spending too much money. And we're going to cut down.
Oh, Jim, I don't think we're extravagant, any of us.
Okay, you're not extravagant. You just spend too much money.
But we don't waste anything, dear. And we don't spend money unnecessarily.
Oh, we don't we? I suppose $5 to watch birds isn't unnecessary. If Bud has to watch birds, he can sit on the front porch and watch them for 10 years. It won't cost him a dime.
Holy cow.
This family has to learn to conserve. We've got to make things do. Now, here, look at this. Another pair of shoes for Kathy. That's the third pair in 6 months.
But, Daddy, I'm growing.
Well, do you have to grow so fast?
Father!
Oh, it's all right, dear. Your father's only joking.
Sure, I'm only joking, Kathy. But there's one thing I'm not joking about. This family has to stop spending so much money. And we've got to stop running around. We're going to stay home and enjoy the simple things of life. We've got magazines to read, books to read. I spent $190 for the encyclopedia, and nobody's ever gotten past Marib to Mushy.
Jim, there's one thing you don't seem to understand.
Just a moment, dear. Bud, the phone.
It's Kathy's turn.
It is not. But I'll answer it anyway. See if I care.
What is it you were saying, Margaret?
Well, I was saying that there's one thing you don't seem to understand. That no one has even mentioned going out tonight. Everyone was quite satisfied and quite happy, and this entire discussion seems to be absolutely pointless.
Is that so? If I didn't put my foot down every once in a while, this whole family would go to pot. Nobody would ever stay home.
Daddy, it's for you.
Thank you, Kathy.
It's Mr. Smith, Daddy.
Thank you, dear. Hello, Heck. No, we were just finishing our dinner. The drugstore? Well, I hadn't thought about going down there, but... Pick up cards for what? You mean the game is tonight? Oh. Well, Look, Heck, maybe you'd better not figure on me for tonight. Well, frankly, I forgot all about it, and I got myself into a situation here. Yes, I know, Heck, but couldn't you get George Phillips? Out of town, huh? Just a minute, Heck. Kathy, there's somebody at the door.
Okay.
Sorry, Heck. Well, look, there must be somebody else you can get for the game. There isn't, huh? Well, I'll do whatever I can, Heck, but it's going to be tough. Okay. But if I'm not there by 8, well, you'd better call me. Okay, Heck, I'll see you. Ye gods, the things I get my...
Is there anything wrong, dear?
No, nothing wrong. Let's see, what were we talking about?
Nobody goes out tonight.
Well, of course, I don't mean that we have to live like hermits.
Of course not, dear.
There are circumstances when it will be necessary and proper for us to spend an evening away from home. A special picture that we won't want to miss, or a meeting, or something.
You're so right, dear, but after that long lecture you just finished, naturally you don't mean tonight. Do you, dear?
Oh, no, naturally not tonight. We'll all spend a quiet evening at home. Tonight.
Daddy?
Yes, Kathy?
Daddy, may I please have $1.25?
You certainly may not.
But, Daddy...
You see, Margaret, that's just what I meant about discipline. This entire discussion about thrift and economy was absolutely wasted. Everything I said went in one ear and out the other. I spent 15 minutes explaining that we had to take it easy, that we had to cut down on our spending, and what happens? As soon as I stop to take a deep breath, Bud needs $5 to watch birds, and Kathy needs $1.25. Now, why on earth do you suddenly need $1.25?
To pay the paper boy.
Oh.
You know, for all his talking, Father wouldn't think of doing without that paper. It's one of those things that means so much to every day that comes along. And something else we count on, you and I, day in and day out, is coffee. I mean really good coffee, like our Maxwell House. Coffee you sit down to and enjoy, cup after cup. That good to the last drop flavor. You won't find it in any other coffee. No coffee but Maxwell House. And as you'd expect, there's a very real reason why. It's a recipe, the only recipe there is for that good to the last drop flavor. It's mighty important, that recipe of ours, because the flavor of the coffee you enjoy depends on the blend, the kind of coffee's in it, and how they're put together. Now, coffee grows in many different varieties, and you can blend them in all sorts of ways. But there's only one way, one recipe for our famous Maxwell House flavor. And when all's said and done, it's this recipe of ours that makes the difference. The big difference between just another coffee and the wonderfully good flavor of America's favorite brand. It's a difference you'll taste for yourself the very first time you pour a cup of our Maxwell House coffee. And I hope you will, tomorrow. Hope you'll start enjoying the coffee that's always good to the last drop.
In the white frame house on Maple Street, an hour has passed, and a long, long hour it's been. For Jim Anderson, the minutes have dragged by in endless procession. His active mind is buzzing with a weird assortment of masculine schemes, every one of them taken from the file headed, How to Get Out of the House. A dozen fantastic plans have already been tried, and none of them has worked. But you've got to give Jim credit. The kid's still in there pitching, like this.
Margaret,
Yes, dear?
Do you have the correct time?
Oh, I think so. It's, 5 minutes of 8.
Uh-huh. Just what I thought. This doggone watch is on the blink again. Just won't keep time.
Well, what time do you have, dear?
7 of.
Well, Jim, that's a difference of only 2 minutes.
Only 2 minutes? Margaret, do you realize the things that have happened in 2 minutes? Wars have been won and lost. The entire course of civilization has been changed. I better have it fixed.
All right, dear.
As a matter of fact, as long as I'm not doing anything right now, I might as well run down to the jeweler's. And, it might take some time. You know how fussy jewelers can be about a watch. So, maybe you'd better not wait up for me.
Jim.
Yes, dear?
Christmas is over. The jewelers all close at 5:30.
They do. You mean, all of them?
Yes, dear.
Oh.
You ought to see the watch Joe Phillips got for Christmas, Dad. Boy, is that a watch. Shatterproof, shockproof, waterproof, heatproof, and it's guaranteed to last him a lifetime. But it won't.
Why not?
He lost it.
But instead of making bad jokes, why don't you go upstairs and do your homework?
That wasn't a joke, Dad.
You can say that again.
You mean the whole thing?
Bud. Go upstairs and do your homework.
Okay. You wouldn't want to help me, would you?
That's right.
Yeah, I sort of figured you wouldn't. Well, I'll see you later.
Margaret, I think I'll go out for a little walk.
Why, Jim, it's snowing.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little snow. Does a man good to get out in the snow once in a while. The air crisp and clear, the ground all white and peaceful.
Jim Anderson, you're not going to tramp around in the snow at your age. I have enough to do without taking care of a sick husband. And stop pacing up and down the room like a caged lion.
Father,
Yes, Betty?
I'll play checkers with you if you like.
Thank you. But I'd rather see you doing your homework.
Oh, I don't have any homework. I finished it this afternoon.
Well, go sew something. Or read a book. And don't tell me you read a book.
I'll spot you 2 kings.
I don't need to be spotted 2 kings, and I don't want to play checkers. Margaret,
Yes, dear.
do you need anything at the drugstore?
No, dear, not a thing.
We're kind of low on toothpaste this morning.
I got some this afternoon.
Oh, you did. Soap holding up all right?
Just fine.
Say, I think I'll run out and get something to smoke. Yes, sir, that's just what I'll do.
Jim,
Yes, Margaret?
I bought you a carton of cigarettes this afternoon, and there's a whole humidor full of pipe tobacco.
You know, it's a funny thing, but I just feel like smoking a cigar.
Jim, I didn't know you smoked cigars.
Well, of course. After all, there's nothing like a good cigar. You know what Rudyard Kipling said? A woman is only a woman, but a good cigar is a smoke. Yeah, I'll get it.
Jim, be careful.
Who the dickens moved the lamp over to this side?
Oh, Jim, how could you?
Well, how do you expect me to keep track of where the lamps are if you keep moving them around all the time? Anyway, well, I'm sorry, Margaret. I was just...
The phone's ringing.
Betty, be a good girl and clean up this mess, will you?
All right, Father.
And don't worry about the lamp, Margaret. We'll get it fixed or something.
A good lamp. Just look at it.
6 lamps right in your way when you're in a hurry. Naturally, they get knocked down. Hello? Hello, Heck. What do you mean, am I still here? Of course not. I left for your house 20 minutes ago. Heck, I'm doing everything I can. I can't do it, Heck. I can't just walk out. Because I can't, that's why. I am trying. Well, stop worrying about it. I'll figure something out. Okay. Yeah, call me later. So long.
Who is that, dear?
It was Hector, honey. He just wanted to talk to me.
About what, dear? Is anything wrong?
Oh, no. He wanted me to come over there. He probably wants to talk to me about something.
Like what, dear?
Well, well, it's probably very complicated. You'd be surprised.
I'll bet I would.
Yeah. Are you through with the newspaper, dear?
I think so.
Well, I guess I'll sit down and read the paper.
That's a very good idea.
Daddy.
We're in the den, Kathy.
Daddy, I just thought of something wonderful to save money. How much does water cost?
Not very much, dear. Why?
Well, it costs something to get it hot, doesn't it? So I thought if I only took one bath a week...
Are you supposed to be taking a bath now?
Uh-huh.
Well, take it.
But you said we had to save money, and I thought if I only took...
Kathy, go upstairs and take your bath.
Gee whiz.
You heard your father, Kathy. Now go ahead.
First they want to save money, then they don't want to save money. Why don't they make up their minds?
Say, did you see this in the paper? They're having a big meeting in the school auditorium.
Tomorrow night.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. It's tomorrow.
Jim.
Father, I put all the broken pieces on the service porch, but I don't think they can fix the lamp. It's a mess.
Thank you, Benny.
You're welcome.
Read something, dear?
Oh, no, it's all right.
Mother.
Yes, Betty.
Have you seen the records I borrowed from Janie?
Well, no, dear, I haven't. Where did you leave them?
Well, I put them over there on Father's chair. Father, you're sitting on them.
I am? Oh, I thought it felt kind of funny.
Oh, Father, how could you? $7.50 worth of South Pacific, and look at it.
Well, they're only cracked a little, Betty. Well, look at this one. Only the front part of it's broken off. You can still play the whole chorus, and that's all anybody listens to anyway.
She'll never talk to me again, and I don't blame her.
Oh, Betty, will you please stop that moaning and groaning? I'll buy Janie another album. And stop looking at me as though I went around beating little children.
Yes, Father.
Man tries to spend a quiet evening at home, and what happens? Lamps fall down, people stuff records under his cushion. I'll get it.
Jim, please be careful.
Margaret, I don't make a practice of knocking lamps down. Anybody listening to you would think I broke a lamp every day.
Yes, dear, but be careful just the same.
This looking lamp I ever saw in my life. Hello? Yes, I'm still here. Look, Heck, I told you in the very beginning I didn't think I could make it. Well, I did try. I tried everything but chloroform. It won't do any good to call me back later. Why don't you just forget the whole thing?
Jim?
Just a minute, Heck. What is it, Margaret?
Is that Hector again?
Yes, dear, it's,
Jim, if it's really that urgent, why don't you run over there?
You wouldn't mind?
No, but if they can't get anyone else, why don't you have them come over here for the game?
The game. Over here?
Well, there's no reason why they can't play poker here.
There isn't?
Of course not.
Oh. Well, say, Heck, how about playing over here? It would, huh? Well, fine. Oh, of course not. Margaret won't mind at all. Okay, see you in a little while. Goodbye. Margaret.
Yes, Jim?
Well, you see, I'd forgotten all about this date I had with the boys, and, well, I told them to get somebody else.
Just a moment, dear. Bud!
You want me, Mom?
Yes, dear. I want you to go to the delicatessen.
Okay, I'll be down in a minute.
Why does he have to go to the delicatessen?
Well, you'll be busy getting the card things ready, dear, and there isn't a thing in the house. We'll have to serve something.
Well, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate.
Oh, no, but we'll need a few slices of ham and some liverwurst and bologna and cheese, a few loaves of bread, potato chips, pickles.
Why do we need pickles? There's no sense in running hog wild just because a couple of men are coming over to play poker. I told you at dinner, Margaret, we've got to cut down on our expenses.
All right, dear, no pickles. After all, Father knows best.
Well, pickles or no pickles, I'm inclined to think it's Mother knows best when it comes to shopping for the family groceries. Take coffee, for instance. Mother knows that when she buys coffee, there's just one thing that means real value. It's the flavor you get for your money that really counts. And these days she understands it's more important than ever to get the most flavor for every penny you spend. And that's just what you do get in our Maxwell House coffee. You get a full measure of that wonderful Maxwell House flavor. Good to the last drop flavor no other coffee gives you. And that's why more people buy our Maxwell House than any other brand of coffee. So when you put out good money for coffee, be sure you get the most in value, in flavor and freshness. You always will when you open up a pound of Maxwell House, the coffee that's always good to the last drop.
The lights are out in the white frame house on Maple Street. The children are asleep, the guests are gone. The last chip has been put away, and the poker game is a thing of the past.
Jim.
Oh, you still awake?
Yes, I've just been lying here thinking. How did the game go?
Fine, just fine. I guess I showed that Hector Smith how poker should be played. Bluffed him right out of two of the biggest pots you ever saw.
Jim.
Yes, dear?
You know, I've been wondering about this sudden wave of economy. There isn't anything wrong, is there?
Oh, no. Well, it was those darn Christmas bills. They really got me down.
Tonight didn't help much, did it? I mean, we'll have to buy a new lamp and records for Janie.
Well, it won't amount to much.
No, I suppose not. Including the food and drinks, I figure that the quiet evening at home came to just $32.50.
$36.50.
No, dear. $32.50. I can get a new lamp for... Oh. You mean you...
I certainly did.
$4?
And 22 cents. Mark.
Good night, dear.
If you like good things the easy way, good things the easy way, Instant Maxwell House, that's for you. Good coffee that's easy too. No time, no trouble, no grounds, no pot, and it's good to the very last you know what.
Yes, Instant Maxwell House means great coffee instantly in your cup. Here's real instant coffee, all pure Maxwell House coffee in instant form. Enjoy instant Maxwell House, instantly.
Good to the very last you know what.
Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman. Don't forget, membership cards for the Robert Young Good Drivers Club are waiting for you at your local NBC station. Get a man-to-man or dad-to-daughter pledge and sign up today. Be a good driver. Get your membership card in the Robert Young Good Drivers Club today. Now, until next Thursday, good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Now stay tuned in for Screen Guild Theater, which follows immediately over most of these stations.
Here are three top stars on Screen Guild Theater, next on NBC.
Countdown for a blast-off. X -5,
-4, -3, -2, X -1. Fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. If you wanted to take over our world with a minimum amount of resistance and trouble, how would you go about it? Tonight we'll tell you how, with a strange and chilling story by George Lefferts. The Parade.
You are Mr. Sid Ryan.
The same.
My name is Luchar. I am a Martian.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. What was that again?
A Martian.
As in Orson Welles?
Precisely.
I'm a Rotarian myself. Sit down.
Thank you.
Now that we've had our little joke, Mr. Luchar, what can Publicity Associates do for you?
I am interested in obtaining publicity. It has been my observation that advertising and publicity are the very backbone of earthly civilization.
Spoken like a true Martian, Mr. Luchar. Now, if you'll tell me the name of the client.
The client, of course, will be the Martians.
You don't give up, do you?
Give up?
The gag, I mean. Oliver.
Yes, Mr. Ryan?
This is Mr. Luchar.
Oh, how do you
Mr. Luchar claims to be a Martian. Take him outside, will you, Oliver?
I am happy to see, Mr. Ryan, that my telling you I am a Martian has approximately the effect I guessed it would. I believe we can do business. I have here cash retainer, $5,000.
Oliver, take a look at that wad of lettuce.
It's the real stuff, Mr. Ryan.
And my client is prepared to spend many times that amount.
Sit down, Mr. Luchar. Oliver, get the client a cigar, the 50-cent box.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, now, what can I do for you, sir?
I wish you to manage a publicity campaign. A very large and important campaign.
Is the product established, or is it something brand new?
Something quite new. Now, what would you judge the most effective type of campaign?
Well, if the client has a lot of dough to throw around, a suspense campaign is best. First, you place ads in the paper saying, "Watch this space." Then, about a week later, you run an ad saying XYZ or PDQ, and you get people guessing what it means. Then, finally, when you've teased them enough, you bust loose and unveil the product.
Excellent. We will conduct a suspense campaign.
Of course, in this kind of campaign, secrecy is very important. Once the name of the product leaks out, it spreads like wildfire, and the whole campaign is kerfloppo.
Quite so, quite so. The utmost secrecy.
You realize, of course, these things cost like crazy.
Would, say, $1 million cover expense?
Come again?
I said, would $1 million cover it?
Why, yes, I am at... You did say $1 million.
I understood that you have handled some very large accounts. Of course, if this is too big...
No, not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I seldom touch anything less. Right, Oliver?
Huh? Oh, of course. That's right, Mr. Ryan. Absolutely right. Yes, sir.
You will begin, then, by saturating the newspapers, the radio, the streetcars with a very simple statement.
What's that?
I will write it on a card. Here you are.
The Martians are coming. Say, that's not a bad teaser. Got that, Oliver?
Yes, sir.
The next ad will read, June 1st is Martian Day.
June 1st is Martian Day.
What happens on June 1st?
The parade takes place.
What parade?
I wish you to arrange a parade up Fifth Avenue.
You mean like the Macy Parade?
Exactly. Except that the theme will be the world of tomorrow, the Martian world. My client would like it to be a gay affair. Balloons, clowns, pennants, pretty drum majorettes.
Say, that sounds terrific. I might be able to interest the department stores in a tie-in.
Fine. The parade will climax the campaign. On June 1st, the product will be unveiled.
Good enough. By the way, Mr. Luchar, just what is the product? What are we selling?
Oh, no, Mr. Ryan. Secrecy, remember?
Yeah, but after all...
Mr. Ryan, all will be revealed to you in good time. For the moment, let us say that we are selling a concept.
A concept?
The concept of invasion from Mars.
Sorrel Talent Agency.
Sammy Sorrel, please.
This is Sammy.
This is Sid Ryan over at Publicity Associates. Listen, Sammy, how you fixed for midgets?
I got midgets.
Fine, I need 40 midgets for a parade. 40. June 1st. And listen, Sammy, I want them dressed in little spacesuits.
In little...
You know, like men from Mars.
Mars.
Okay? And I want some movie extras, maybe 50 of them.
50.
Also rigged up like men from Mars. Make them look gruesome. Got that?
Gruesome.
Also, I need some horses with pretty girls on top of them. Maybe you can get that bunch from Maroney's Traveling Circus, the one we booked for the Fireman's Parade in Albany last year.
Yeah, I'll try, Sid.
Never mind the expense. Just get me the talent.
It sounds like you landed a big client. Who is it?
It's a secret. I gotta hang now. Call me back, Sammy.
Right.
How you doing, Oliver?
Oh, fine, Mr. Ryan, just fine. I got 100 small boys pasting little stickers. The Martians are coming on the subway platforms.
Good.
We got full-page ads in all the dailies.
Good.
And 10-second spot announcements on every local station.
Good.
It's costing a fortune.
Good. The more it costs, the bigger our percentage. Spend like you were going to the electric chair, Oliver.
Yes, sir. How are you making out in the parade?
If it comes off, it'll be the biggest thing since Barnum invented the midget. I've got Macy's, Gimbals, and Saks to contribute floats. Everything is built around the Martian theme, see? Even the horses will have long feelers attached to them and funny-looking extra legs. It'll be sensational.
That sounds fine, only...
Only what?
Mr. Ryan, we don't even know what we're selling.
Oliver, my boy, do you think old Sid Ryan has been sitting here spending all this moolah and not putting two and two together?
You mean you know who Luchar represents?
Just by accident, understand. I have learned that Century Pictures is making a big new epic. One of those expensive pictures they make in secret and then spring on the public because they don't want the other studios to get the jump on them.
What's the picture?
A space opera titled Invasion from Mars. Get it?
Oh, I begin to see.
Also, by mere coincidence, it's supposed to have its premiere sometime around June 1st. You follow me?
Yes, but... Mr. Ryan, Century has an exclusive contract with New Feature Syndicate for all their publicity.
Suppose Century Pictures doesn't like the way New Features is handling their stuff. They want to get out of the contract, but New Feature says no, so they have to get around the contract. A man named Luchar, client unknown, starts publicizing the Martian invasion. Need I go further?
I don't know, Mr. Ryan. Sounds pretty far-fetched to me, but I don't know.
That's what I like about you, Oliver. You're so innocent. Now, let me talk to Commissioner Patrick, please. Sid Ryan.
Hello.
Commish, Sid Ryan.
Oh. How are you, Ryan?
Fine.
What is it this time? You want to drop a man off the Empire State Building into a teacup full of water? The answer is no. Also, we're not arresting any fan dancers.
You know I don't handle fan dances. I want a permit for a parade. June 1st, 5th Avenue. It's a Sunday. There's no traffic.
Now, look, Ryan,
Macy's gets a permit. Gimbals gets a permit. The American Legion gets a permit. The Sons of Erin march every time Morton Downey sings The Wearing of the Green. Oh, don't give me a hard time, Patrick. This is too big. I have the 5th Avenue Merchants Association behind me.
Okay, Ryan. Fill out the forms. I'll pass them along to the license commissioner.
That's my boy.
By the way, what's the occasion for this parade?
Oh, don't you read the papers, Patrick? June 1st is Martian Day.
How is the campaign going, Mr. Ryan?
Like wildfire, Mr. Luchar, like wildfire. Everybody and his brother is going along with the gag. Yesterday, we distributed 50,000 Martian hats to school kids. I got some of the merchants doing World of Tomorrow displays in their windows. Every big novelty manufacturer in town is climbing on the bandwagon. They want to get into the parade with floats, giveaways, anything. Everybody smells a buck to be made. I wouldn't be surprised if the mayor himself declared Martian Day. I've even arranged for Commissioner Patrick to accept a $50,000 check for the Policeman's Benevolent Fund from the man from Mars. Oh, it's terrific, terrific. My blood pressure's up to 200.
Excellent.
I I understand Century Pictures spent over $1 million making that space opera.
I beg pardon?
Oh, come, Mr. Lucha. Sid Ryan wasn't born yesterday, you know. I know who our client is, even if you don't admit it.
You do?
Always thinking that's me.
Well, as long as you know, let's keep it to ourselves, shall we, Mr. Ryan? As you once remarked, when these things leak out, it destroys the surprise and ruins the effectiveness of the campaign.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Daly speaking to you from our portable transmitter atop the reviewing stand for the much-heralded Martian Parade on Fifth Avenue. It's a beautiful sunlit day here in New York, a perfect day for a parade, and the streets are packed with thousands of spectators all eager to find out what this is all about. There's an air of shrill expectancy. Some of the kids and their parents have been camped on the curbstone since early this morning to be sure of ringside seats when the so-called Martians pass by. I've just had word from Saul Brown up at Central Park Mall that the Martians have landed from big pink balloons. And now, while we're waiting for the arrival of the parade, we brought some people up to our microphone to tell you their reactions to this most spectacular of all publicity stunts. That's right, come on. What's your name, madam?
Miss Ada Shackley.
A little louder, please.
Miss Ada Shackley.
And where are you from, Mrs. Shackley?
Columbus, Ohio.
I see. And I see you have your family with you, too. Two little curly-headed blonde boys. Are you in New York on vacation?
We came for the Shriners Convention with their daddy.
What do you think of Martian Day, Mrs. Shackley?
Well, it all seems very strange to me, but the boys have been pestering me to watch it, so we've been standing here 2 hours. I can't make head or tail of it.
Well, neither can a lot of other people, Mrs. Shackley. But judging by the thousands here today, there's a lot of curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat, folks say.
Well, let's hope not. Thank you, Mrs. Shackley.
Mr. Ryan's here.
Ryan, right. And this is Mr. Sid Ryan, ladies and gentlemen, the publicity man who's the brains behind the Martian Day stunt. Hello, Sid.
Good morning, Kenneth.
Easy, not so close to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Sid, you've certainly lifted the lid this time.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Sid, there's been a great deal of speculation as to exactly what all this is leading up to. I've heard some folks say it's a big war bond drive. Others think it's just to stimulate local business. And, look, I understand in the trade itself, the smart money says you're building for the premiere of Century's forthcoming extravaganza, Invasion from Mars. Now, come clean. Can you tell us what the real story is?
Ken. I'd like to, but honestly, I can't.
Oh, man of mystery, eh? Are you going to watch the parade from the stand here?
No, Ken, I can't stand noise. I'm going up to my office and watch it comfort.
Well, thank you, Sid Ryan, and good luck. And here they come, ladies and gentlemen. The first units of the big Martian parade, swinging down Fifth Avenue with fanfare, colored streamers, music, confetti, floats, all the trappings of a Mardi Gras. And here in the vanguard is a whole troop of little midgets in weird-looking pink and blue spacesuits, carrying Rube Goldberg weapons with signs painted on them. Let's see, I can read one which says, Atomic Blaster. Another one has a placard reading, We're Martian through Georgia. And here come the clowns, laughing and falling all over each other. They're giving free sugar candy to the kids along the way. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a happy, laughing crowd along Fifth Avenue today. A true reflection of the great sense of humor and good nature that makes America the place it is. This is promised as the climax of the show. And now a great hush has fallen over the crowd. It's quite a sight to see these thousands of people standing here expectantly, hearing only the great regular sigh of their mass breathing. And now here they come, ladies and gentlemen, the Martians, marching in booted, helmeted ranks, row after row of them. My, this is an impressive sight, ladies and gentlemen, and a rather serious contrast to the rest of the joyous slapstick parade we've witnessed. There are perhaps, 200 tall, broad-chested men dressed in metallic gray spacesuits with thick glass visors drawn across their faces. Each is holding an ominous-looking ray gun at the ready position. They're marching in absolute silence, keeping step perfectly, as though some mute, unspoken command were marking time for them. The crowd seems rather grim and serious now. Perhaps they're reminded of the actuality of war and possible invasion. They stand solemnly, silently, watching. Even the children are awed. And now the first ranks of the Martians are moving past us down Fifth Avenue toward the reviewing stands at the square. No one moves. What's that? What's happening? There, a woman, ladies and gentlemen. She dashed out into the street. For what reason, I don't know. She attempted to lift the visor of one of the Martian spacesuits, but just as she reached the Martian, she fell forward in a dead faint. I tell you, I've never felt such mass tension in a crowd as we're experiencing here right now, today. All sorts of rumors have begun filtering back through the audience. There are excited whispers of she's dead, she fainted, and now an undercurrent of, what? They're really Martians. This is an example of how a single incident can precipitate mass hysteria, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, it's a mighty reassuring sight to see the blue uniforms of New York's finest spaced every 10 feet or so along the avenue. Somehow, I can't explain it. This incident has begun to work on what was a moment ago a happy, carefree crowd, and the complexion is changing.
Mr. Ryan, did you see that? A woman fainted.
Of course I saw it.
What do you suppose she saw?
Oliver, old man, did I ever tell you were too naive for this business?
But that young woman ran out into the streets to get a close look at the Martians, and then she screamed and fainted dead away.
I'm well aware of that, Oliver, since I paid her $50 to do it.
What?
The dramatic moment, Oliver, the stock and trade of the good publicity, man. Relax.
Holy smokes, you sure think of everything.
Yeah, for my share of this deal, roughly $100,000, I can afford to think of everything. Shut the window.
Don't you want to see the finish?
We'll go down to the reviewing stand for the finish. Right now, I want to make a phone call. By the way, where's Lucha?
I haven't seen him.
Well, he'll be around.
Boy, those Martians sure look like the real thing.
How would you know the real thing if you saw it, Oliver?
Well, gee, I don't know.
Close the window, Oliver.
Oh, yes, Mr. Ryan.
Sorrel's Talent Agency.
Sammy, this is Sid Ryan.
Say, listen, Sid, I was going to call you. I'm awful sorry about those Martians.
What do you mean, sorry? They're terrific.
No, don't joke, Sid. I mean it.
Well, I mean it, too. They're great.
Are you in the bag?
Never felt better.
You mean it, don't you?
Of course I mean it. What is this?
There are Martians in the parade?
About 150. Of course, I only ordered 50, but
Sid.
under the circumstances...
Sid.
Well, what is it?
Sid, don't you know? I couldn't get you a single movie extra. There's a studio strike in New York. I was going to call you, but I figured...
Hey, wait a minute. Where'd these guys come from if you didn't hire them?
I don't know. Maybe Oliver.
Oh, hold on. Oliver.
Yes, Mr. Ryan?
Did you hire those Martians?
No, sir,
Sammy, this is on the level, isn't it?
Honest, Sid,
Okay, Sammy, I'll call you back.
What's the matter, Mr. Ryan?
I don't know. I just don't know. I've got to locate Lucha. What's Century Pictures number?
Mr. Ryan, this is Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Well, get me their publicity director, Marty Sanford, at home.
Oh, yes, sir.
2, 4. Here you are.
Thanks.
Sanford.
Marty, this is Sid Ryan.
Oh, hello, Sid. How's the big
Fine.
promotion?
Listen, Marty, this is dead serious. On the level. Get it?
What's wrong?
I've got to locate Lucha.
Lou who?
Lucha, come on now, Marty. This is life and death. The guy you sent over to hire me for the invasion picture.
Invasion picture?
Invasion from Mars, the space opera.
Are you batty?
Marty.
That picture was shelved last month.
What?
Sure, back in the can. Too expensive and too fantastic. The big shots decided you can't sell a Martian invasion to the American public. And I never heard of a guy named Lou.
Mother heaven.
What is it, Mr. Ryan? You look terrible.
That's too Fantastic.
What's too fantastic, Mr. Ryan? Is something wrong?
Open that window. I want another look at those Martians.
Yes, sir.
Look at them. Oliver, you were in the Army. Could 150 movie extras learn to march like that in, say, 24 hours?
Not in 24 days, Mr. Ryan.
Not a second's hesitation. Not one other step. Look at the way they carry those ray guns at the ready. The only other time I've seen troops march like that was in a film of the Nazi stormtroops marching through the streets of Paris. See those chests on them? That's pride. Sheer, arrogant pride. Look at those chins. That's contempt. Nobody could act like that.
Mr. Ryan!
Oliver, get down there. Find that woman who fainted. Her name's Gloria Montex. Get her up here. Make it fast.
Here she is, Mr. Ryan. I can't get much sense out of her.
Stay away from me.
Gloria, it's me, Sid Ryan.
Oh, don't kid me. You're a Martian.
Gloria, settle down.
No, you're wearing a mask.
Baby, it's me, Sid.
And underneath, it's awful. It's all big green eyes and those feelers like a catfish.
Baby, snap out of it. Listen, what happened down there? You ran out and screamed like I told you, but the fainting, that wasn't in the act.
Oh, go away, please. Go away.
What'd you see?
Oh, no, please. It's too awful. Please, please.
Just one question, baby. Inside that helmet, what'd you see?
You won't get anything out of her, Mr. Ryan. She needs a doctor.
Okay, Oliver, I've heard enough anyway. You take care of Gloria here. Get her a drink.
Where are you going?
To see the commissioner. We gotta stop this parade before things begin to happen.
Okay, Ryan, what's the beef?
Listen, Patrick, I don't know what it is, see, but something's wrong. You gotta stop that parade.
I suppose you'd like the riot squad. That would get you a front-page spread on every paper in town. Honest, you publicity guys give me a pay.
This may be a matter of life and death.
Oh, sure. Look, Ryan, I've got no time for your cheap publicity gags. I'm a busy man.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you I don't know where these Martians came from, who they are, anything about them. All I want you to do is stop the parade and make sure they're on the level.
Ryan, I'm wise to your tricks. Now, if you let the sergeant show you out...
You won't do it, huh? An honest citizen appeals for protection and you refuse.
I most emphatically do. Now beat it.
All right, Patrick. I'll go right to the mayor's office. I'll have you busted flatter than a fried egg.
Go ahead. I'm sure His Honor will be glad to toss you out on that phony nickel-plated skull of yours.
You heard me, Ryan. You cannot see the mayor.
Adolf, please. This isn't a gag. I don't want publicity. All I want to do is maybe prevent something horrible from happening.
In case you don't know it, wise guy, something horrible is already happening. A couple hundred little kids are in the hospital with ptomaine poisoning from that phony Martian candy you passed out. Or didn't you know?
I didn't. We've got to stop that parade.
Sure, you'd like nothing better than to start a panic now. Maybe a few hundred people would get trampled to death. Think of the newspaper space that would get you and your product.
I won't stand for this, Adolf.
You won't have to, because you're going to get out of here right now. Go on, beat it. Get out. You and your publicity stunts make me sick to my stomach.
Oliver! Oliver, where are you? Oliver! Oliver!
It is useless to scream at him, Mr. Ryan. Your friend is quite dead.
Lucha.
He wanted to run to the police with some story about a Martian invasion. I found it necessary to restrain him.
Restrain him, you stinking murderer.
Now, Mr. Ryan, collect yourself. After all our planning, it wouldn't do to have everything spoiled, now would it?
Lucha, start talking and talk fast, because when you get through, I'm going to take you apart piece by piece. What's this all about?
But surely you know, Mr. Ryan. After all, you've been publicizing it for months.
Listen, you...
Please, do not interrupt. You see, before colonizing your planet, we Martians sent advanced scouts to study your habits, your weaknesses. We found that the people on Earth are predominantly conditioned by advertising and publicity, and so... we conceived the idea of treating our entire invasion as a vast publicity stunt. Clever, huh? After all, Mr. Ryan, who would suspect an invader who advertised his invasion in the newspaper, invited the public to his surprise attack, and spent millions publicizing his plans?
Holy jumping catfish.
You've done very well.
Then there was no product.
Ah, but there is a product. The product is... death.
What are you trying to do, Lucha?
We Martians are a humane people, Mr. Ryan. We do not like to destroy thousands where a few hundreds would suffice. In exactly 2 minutes, our troops will treat the world to a spectacle of death, which will bring the rest of your planet to its knees in horror. Nations will clamor to surrender.
Perhaps, Mr. Lucha. But not if I can help it. You...
Yes, please.
Operator, this is Mr. Ryan. Get me the field telephone on the reviewing stand of the Martian Day Parade. Hurry.
Anyone in particular?
Just hurry.
Reviewing stand, Sergeant Cassidy.
Get me Commissioner Patrick.
Hello.
Hello.
You'll have to talk louder.
I want Commissioner Patrick.
Oh.
Patrick!
Wait a minute. Things are quieting down. Now, what was it you wanted?
This is Ryan. I have to talk to the commissioner. It's a matter of life and death.
I'm sorry, you can't talk to him now. The chief Martian is presenting the PBA check to him. The Martians are going to fire a salute.
Listen, you got to stop him.
What?
Stop him!
I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan.
You idiot! The works is going...
This is the operator. I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan, you've been cut off. I can't seem to get them back.
Doesn't matter, operator. Nothing matters now.
Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Parade, an original story written by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Joseph Curtin as Ryan, Joe DeSantis as Luchar, Alexander Scorby as Daly, Agnes Young as the woman, Ellen Deming as Gloria, John Thomas as Oliver, Arthur Anderson as Sammy, Wendell Holmes as the Commissioner, and William Keene as Sanford. Your announcer, Don Pardo. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production. Next week, the tables turn. Instead of Martians invading Earth, we bring you a tale of men invading Mars. Ray Bradbury's brilliant short story entitled Mars is Heaven. Suppose you were a member of the first rocket ship crew to land on Mars, but instead of seeing Martians, you find that you've landed in a town that looks just like home, that all your dead relatives and friends are there to greet you, so that as incredible as it may seem, you think you're really in heaven. That is, you think so, right up to the fatal moment. The moment of X-1.
Join the Abbotts on another baffling mystery tonight over most NBC radio stations.
In the name of the law, we bring you another of the thrilling stories in this exciting series, taken from actual police case files.
Our story begins on the night of November 27th, 1934, in Seattle's police headquarters. Headquarters.
I want to report a stolen car.
Stolen car? I'll connect you with the Detective Bureau. Headquarters.
This is George Richards of the Richards Lumber Supply Company.
Yes, Mr. Richards?
I just found out that my main store at 535 Elliott Avenue West was entered and robbed tonight.
Robbery. Well, let me take this report. What was stolen, Mr. Richards?
The entire store was ransacked. Every can of paint and varnish stolen. Shelves cleaned right out. Every tool in the hardware department stolen besides.
I see. You know how the place was entered?
Well, the front door was jimmied open. It's the only trail they left, those jimmy marks in the front door.
And what was the value of the stolen property, sir?
Around $2,000. My whole stock wiped out. I want the police on this robbery right away.
Yes, Mr. Richards. I'll give this report to Captain of Detectives immediately, sir.
Very well. It's about time the police did something about these burglaries. Goodbye.
Oh, Sweeney. Hey, Sweeney. Come on, slow freight. Hustle it up.
Oh, coming. What's all the rush? What's up, Edward?
Another Phantom Gang job.
Ah, you're crazy. That Phantom Gang pulled that periodical company job last night. Tell it to Sweeney.
I'm telling it to you, Sweeney. Come on, take this report into Captain Scrappin.
Oh, he ain't in his office.
Oh, Oh, trying to duck, eh? Well, he's in the chief's office here. Headquarters. Go ahead, fire department.
That phantom gang's got Captain Scrapper tearing his hair. He won't make me a sergeant for bringing in this report.
Lieutenant, this is Edward, sir. Reserves wanted, sir. Puget steamship dock on fire.
Captain, I want a full report on this lumber supply robbery first thing in the morning.
Yes, sir. I can give you a full report now, Chief. No fingerprints, no clues, nothing. Just the jimmy marks on the front door. The calling card of Seattle's Phantom Gang.
Well, we've got to get them. We've had a year of pillaging and plundering by a gang that's never yet left a trace.
Chief, we're overdue on this fantastic ring, I know. Well, look, here's my own record on all those unsolved robberies. 16 of them.
Yes, and not counting the repeats. Galbraith Lumber Company burglarized 4 times. Blue Streak Candy Company 3 times.
And none of the loot has ever been found.
Yeah.
None of the stuff stolen on these jobs has ever showed up at a pawn shop or a second-hand dealer.
Or a fence.
Or a fence. We've shadowed dozens of them. And look at the kind of stuff this Phantom Gang steals. Big stuff, expensive machinery, motors, and then this. Cough drops, canned oysters, hams, bacon, tools, books, soups. Christmas tree lights.
Yeah. What about Lefty Connors? Have you checked on him lately?
Lefty? He'd machine gun you for a song, Chief. But he wouldn't let those dumb mobsters of his bother with machinery.
What about Orinoco?
Orinoco is the #1 suspect. Burglary like this is right up his alley. But I can't pin anything on him yet.
Well, keep your men on his trail, Captain. This Phantom Gang has got to be wiped out. Have you any new ideas on it?
Yeah. Little Butch Barrett has a pretty young sister, Sylvia.
What about her?
She just got engaged to Phil Sherman today.
Phil Sherman?
Yeah. One of our bright young cops. Marrying the sister of the smartest mob leader in Seattle.
A killer, too. Say, Captain, you didn't put Sherman up to it, did you?
Me? I'd never give a cop an assignment like that. It would be signing his death warrant. Little Butch thinks the sun rises on that sister of his.
Well, how do you think Phil Sherman even got close enough to her to say hello?
That's what I want to find out. Little Butch may be the works on this Phantom Gang. Anytime he lets a cop marry into his family, it's for no good reason.
Yes?
Oh, Edwards, Chief. 4-alarm fire, sir. 4 alarms now on the Puget steamship dock fire. Big crowds all around the docks. All reserves requested.
You get the reserves out. All precincts 5 to 14. And have all patrolmen and radio cars keep doubly watchful on their beat for burglaries. Special orders.
Yes, Chief.
4-alarm dock fire. Come along.
You bet, Chief. Maybe Little Butch is in the arson racket now to cover up a couple of other jobs tonight.
Stick close to me, will you, sis?
All right, Butch. Afraid of the big bad fire?
Nah, but this waterfront is swarming with cops. Big shots, too. There's Chief of Police Cutley by that fire ladder. The guy next to him is Scrafford, captain of the detectives.
Oh, so that's Scrafford. Heard Phil speak of him. Hope I can see Phil here.
Yes, if Scrafford sees you with me, he'll know I'm not pulling off a job somewhere else in Seattle.
Oh, why can't you go straight, Butch? I don't want the police to get my brother.
Well, the cops have got my sister, ain't they? Makes me look good with the mob, all right. They think Little Butch is a new kind of stool pigeon. Marrying his sister to a club and badge.
Well, don't you want me to be happy, Butch?
Sure, Sylvia. You know I'd give you my right arm.
But not your promise to get away from that mob.
I can't. I'm in too deep. They wouldn't let me go.
Butch, let's get away from Seattle. Phil can get a job somewhere else.
I'd never quit the cops here. He's on his way up. Besides, here comes Scrappard now.
Gee, look at those fireboats. The flames are getting higher.
Yeah, it's a great night for the cops, all right.
Hello, Butch. Looks like you want me to meet your sister. I happen to know her by sight.
I think I got enough cops around.
You ought to be nice to me, Butch. I might be able to help your brother-in-law. That is, if your mob lets him live long enough to marry your sister.
Please.
What are you trying to do, Scrappard?
Tell me, Butch. How many jobs are you pulling off tonight under cover of this fire?
You can't pin this Phantom Gang business on me.
Who said anything about Phantom Gang?
It's in all the papers.
Are you marrying Phil Sherman because you think he's a policeman and the family will help your brother? Or...
I'm marrying Phil Sherman because I love him. And if you don't stop hounding us, Phil and I'll leave Seattle.
And take Little Butch with you? That would look good for an ex-cop, wouldn't it?
Phil can make good as a cop anywhere.
He couldn't buy you clothes like those you're wearing on a cop's face.
Why don't you let us alone, Scrappard?
If you're so fond of your sister, Butch, why don't you help her? Come clean about the Phantom Gang. Wash up this suspicion that's hanging over you and her and this young cop he's going to marry.
Dig your own potatoes on this Phantom Gang, Scrappard. I'm not going to help you. Ever since I was a kid, all I got from a cop was the wrong end of a club.
All right, Butch. If you get smart and change your mind, let me know.
Come on, Sylvia. Let's get out of here before this guy makes one crack too many. Come on.
I'm coming.
Jenny! I'm coming. Yes, Captain. Any orders? Yeah, keep following Butch. What was he doing today? Well, he played card at Joe's place. Then this afternoon, about 5, he took a ride down this way. Stopped over on 2nd Street near the Blue Street Candy Company. Blue Street Candy Company? Yeah. Why didn't you tell me that before? Well, I thought I was going to turn in a full report in the morning. The Phantom Gang has cracked the Blue Street Candy Company 3 times. They may be cracking it for the 4th time right now. Jenny, you follow little Butch. Don't let him out of your sight. Get going. Yes, sir. Boy, I'll watch him all right. Sergeant Long. Yes, sir. Sergeant Motorcycle Sidecar?
Yes, sir.
Come on. I'm detaching you from fire duty. Jones, Sport, Parsons.
Coming, Cap. Here we are. Yes, sir.
Listen, Sergeant Long and I are going over to the Blue Street Candy Place on 2nd Street near front. Get another squad car and 6 more men. Face them in behind us and round that block, understand?
Right on, we got you, Peter.
Remember, no sirens. Keep as quiet as you can. I want this to be a surprise. Come on. Here we are, Sergeant. Park in the shadow. That's the Blue Streak factory down the street.
Yes, sir. There's no light there at all.
No. That gang knows its way around in there by this time. You follow me. Gun ready?
Yes, sir.
There's the door. Look, it's open. It's been jimmied open. Come on in.
Listen. Wait a minute. Someone in there.
Who's there? Who's there? Speak up or I'll shoot.
You speak up or we'll shoot. Who are you?
I'm a policeman.
Throw that flashlight over there. We're police, too.
Here he comes. Why, it's Patrolman Jenkins.
Oh, hello. Hello, Captain. I was passing by, sir. Noticed the front door had been jimmied open. So I came in and was just looking around when I heard you. Whew. I almost let you have it in the dark. Yeah. You almost got it, too. Never mind. Yeah, this place has been robbed, all right. Look at those shelves. Cleaned up. Yep. I noticed it. They took their time, wherever they were. It's that Phantom Gang again. Hey, I thought they hired a watchman after that last burglary. Yeah, that's right. They did. I wonder where he is. Well, let's look around, all right? Here, hold your flashlight over here, Sergeant.
Okay. It's a door. Huh. Looks like it leads to a kind of a cellarway, Captain.
Yeah. Stand back and cover me, Sergeant. You too, Jenkins. Right. I'm going to open that door.
Yes, sir.
All right, Captain. Look out. Stand back. Go there.
Well, the saints have mercy.
Watchman. At the foot of the stairs. He's been murdered. Say, you know what I think? I think it's suicide. Now, that might be his own gun over there. And look. Look at the powder marks on his temple.
Could he still be alive?
No, he's dead, poor fellow. Look at that red blood on his white hair. Come on, men. Help me turn him over.
Right.
There. And he was kidding that he had a sweet job in a candy factory.
Headquarters.
Hey, there's a big hole out in the middle of Park Street. Steam pipe must have caved in or something.
Park Street near where?
Near 7th Street. You can't see the hole in the dark, and it's liable to wreck cars and hurt people, right?
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Car 19. Car 19. Go to Park Street near 7th. Park Street near 7th. Hole in Street. Arrange warning for automobiles. Place red lanterns. Oh, good evening, Captain.
Oh, hello, Edwards. Say, where's the patrolman on that Park Street beat?
I was just going to call his precinct. We're short-handed on men, you know, sir. Any news on that Watchman murder last night, Captain?
Not a clue. This depression is breeding crime in more ways than one. Every department short-handed. Policemen doubling up on their beat.
Excuse me, Captain.
Headquarters? This is the manager of the Harvey Electric Supply Company, number 11 Charles Street. I want to report a robbery.
Harvey Electrical Supply, robbery.
What, another one? Go on, Edwards. Let's have it.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I came down to the office late to go over some figures for a new job. I found the store ransacked. The door had been jimmied open.
Store ransacked. Door Jimmy's.
Yeah, that Phantom gang again.
I'll send a squad car right around, sir.
You better. This town's getting to be a burglar's paradise. Bye.
Pretty sore. Car 15. Car 15. Go to
Car
Harvey.
15. Just a minute, Edwards. Isn't that Phil Sherman's squad car?
Yes, sir. He's with Jack Miller.
Call Sherman in right away. Send another man out to take his place. Go ahead. I'll get the chief to okay the order. I'll be in his office.
Yes, sir. Car 15. Car 15. Officer Sherman, report to headquarters immediately. Sherman, report to headquarters immediately. Officer Miller, proceed to Harvey Electrical Supply Company, 11 Charles Street. Robbery.
Sherman, you're in a bad spot.
Well, Chief, I don't know anything about that Harvey Electrical robbery. And you don't know who killed that poor old watchman last night?
No, Captain. That Harvey burglary tonight was on my beat. That's all I know.
Sherman, do you take orders from the police department or from little Butch Barrett?
Now, Captain, don't bring him into this. I love his sister, sure, and I'm going to marry her.
Well, why don't you protect her then?
What do you mean?
Sherman, Captain Scrafford means that you're holding something back on this Harvey robbery tonight. Are you trying to shield somebody? Your future brother-in-law?
Come clean, Sherman. Where were you when the Harvey store was burglarized?
Well, I'm sorry. I took time out to eat then.
What time was that?
Well, about 10:30 tonight. Jack Miller and I were driving along Charles Street in a squad car, and Jack wanted to know if I wasn't hungry. Well, I was, and Jack said to grab a bite, so he dropped me off at the White Circle hamburger wagon.
How long were you there?
Oh,
Until little Butch called you?
No, I tell you. I was there almost 3 hours.
What? Off your beat 3 hours?
All right, take my badge, Chief. But don't do anything to Jack. He said he was just calling on his girl. It was her birthday or something.
You were calling on your girl?
No, sir.
Did you
honest,
telephone
Captain.
little Butch's sister?
Well, yes.
Then she knew you were off your beat.
Well,
Sherman, I want you to go out on your squad car route again. Right now.
Oh, gee. I mean, thanks, Chief.
Just a minute. If anyone asks you why you were brought in tonight, it's just a new routine I'm trying, understand?
Yes, sir.
If you talk, you're through. That'll be all.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Where did you let him off, Chief?
I've got an idea. Does Sherman drive a car of his own?
Yes, he has a little roadster.
Does he drive it to work?
Yes, keeps it in the department garage.
Crawford, I have an idea. We're going to invest in a little oil stock.
Oil stock?
Yes. I want you to get a 5-gallon can of motor oil and tie it under Sherman's car so he can't see it.
Yes?
Then I want you to have a plug made so it can be pulled out of the oil can when Sherman drives his car out of the garage. We're going to track him, understand?
Yes, but why?
Well, if Sherman saw a big pool of oil under his car before he drove out of the garage, he'd look under it and see the can, right?
Chief, you're a fast thinker.
We've got to think fast to keep ahead of this Phantom gang. And remember that poor old night watchman. The coroner said they tried to make it look like suicide. Killed him with his own gun.
I'd like to track down the man who did that.
We'll track this Phantom gang in oil. And have a man assigned to see that Sherman's oil is renewed every day.
How about putting a can on little Butch's car, too?
Can you fix it? I'd like to see if little Butch's and Sherman's oil tracks cross.
I think it can be arranged.
Good.
See anything, Sergeant?
Not yet, Captain. The armory across the street there is pitch dark. Are you sure those oil tracks came here?
Yeah, 2 of them. We found 2 pools of oil in the street there in front of the armory after the cars had gone.
Well, a National Guard armory is the last place you'd look for crooks. And that building's a regular fortress. Swell view overlooking Puget Sound.
Who's that coming down the street? Get back in the doorway.
It's a man in uniform. National Guard uniform. Sergeant.
Sergeant Stripes?
Yes, sir. He's at the armory door now. He's getting out keys.
There he goes in. Well, the chief got me a key to that door this afternoon.
Shall we go over and crash in?
No. Take it easy, Sergeant. Maybe we'll get some more fish in our net
Wait a minute. There comes somebody around the corner.
It's a patrolman.
Mm-hmm. Beat man, probably.
What's he doing now?
Just waiting there in the shadow of the armory.
Recognize him?
Mm-mm. Too dark, Captain.
He's expecting someone. Maybe it's this car. It's a police squad car.
And Jack Miller in it by himself. Wonder where his partner is.
Jack Miller, eh? He's Sherman's partner in the squad car, isn't he?
Yeah.
Listen.
Where's your car?
Around the army, Jack. Always park it every day.
On in?
Sure. I'll wait for you to be. Come on.
There they go in.
Bill.
Bill who? Oh, we could tell from his car. He said it's parked behind the armory every day.
Yeah. But we can tell better by looking him right in the eye. We're going in, Sergeant. Come on.
2 cops and an army sergeant.
Up the steps, Sergeant. I have the key.
Wow. Man, it's as dark as the inside of your hat.
Take it easy. This is the drill floor. Nobody here. It looks like a stairway over here. Come on.
Right with you. Watch out for these stairs.
Oh, another door. I'll just open it a crack.
Careful. That room inside there is lighted. Take it easy.
Nobody here. Looks like the armory carpenter shop. Let's look around. Not a big closet.
Yeah. Carpenter tools. Nails. Paint. Here's a new electrical grinder. 2 new portable electric saws.
Where? Let me see.
Here. The bottom of this cupboard.
Pull away those rags in that burlap.
Say, what is this? More saws and lamps.
And what names do you see on them, Sergeant? Look. Get it?
Richards Lumber Supply Company. Harvey Electrical. Say, Captain, all this paint is in the Galbraith Company.
The one they knocked off 4 times. And we finally got him. Cracked in oil.
Wait a minute. What's that?
They're coming. Get ready, Sergeant.
I'm ready.
Turn out the light. Shoot. And turn the light on fast.
Right.
Who turned out the light? Stop, don't shoot.
Turn on the light, Sergeant.
All right.
Captain Trafford.
What's that come? Put up your hands, Jenkins. You too, Miller.
Just a minute. What are you cops doing in this armory? You got no right shooting in here, being in my carpenter shop?
Keep 'em up, Sarge.
Oh, so it's your carpenter shop, is it, Sergeant? I thought it belonged to the National Guard.
Well, I'm regimental carpenter and caretaker of material.
And how? You take care of material stolen by the Phantom Gang from lumber companies and electrical stores?
That ain't so.
No, Captain, that ain't so.
Sergeant Lee called us in here tonight. He thought he heard a burglar.
Miller, you and Jenkins ought to be in the zoo, in the snake house.
Yeah, that'd be tough on the snakes.
Take their guns and clubs away and strip off their badges.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Hey, you're tearing my uniform.
You won't need that police uniform much longer, Jenkins. Where's the rest of the loot, Bill? Got in your car parked out behind the armory? Who else is in this with you? Oh. Want to play shut mouth now, eh?
You can't make us talk, Captain. We know all the tricks.
Yeah, maybe I've got one you don't know. Bring him along, Sarge. We'll send a van for the caretaker's material.
Well, Captain, we got part of the Phantom Gang, but only part.
I know, Chief. Your investment in oil was a great idea. You must admit I used my head when I attached those oil cans to those other cars. It tracked Miller and Jenkins right to the armory. But the leader of this mob, the brains, is still loose in Seattle.
And it looks like a big gang to me. Oh, Captain, no one knows we arrested those men last night?
No, sir. They're being held incommunicado.
Good. Makes my blood boil to think my own policemen are burglars, thieves, maybe killers. But if we can keep this arrest quiet for one more night...
Excuse me, Chief.
Here's that list you wanted, sir.
Oh, all right, Sweeney. That'll be all.
All right. Yes, sir.
Captain, here's the record of all the patrolmen on whose beat those Phantom Gang robberies took place.
Oh, I see. Dates of robberies, beats, patrolmen, and the nights off.
Right. Now take a look at these precinct maps.
Jenkins, He was off his own beat that night of the Blue Streak murder.
Sure, in there covering up. Probably helped rob that place and then had an alibi. Just going by.
Yeah, look at this. Most of these robberies were pulled when the regular patrolman had his night off and somebody else was doubling on his beat.
Exactly. We're short-handed on police. And somebody had been tipping off the Phantom Gang on what beats are unguarded and when.
And that's why a lot of these stores are cleaned out. The gang had lots of time and they knew it.
But how can we put our fingers on the tip-off man?
Chief, this gives me an idea. You track this Phantom Gang in oil. Suppose I track them another way.
How?
Here's my plan. Tonight, in about 10 minutes.
Headquarters. Detective Woods, just a minute. Oh, yes, Captain.
Edwards, Chief wants to see you right away. Special assignment.
All right, Captain, but who'll take over the switchboard?
Well, I'll take it. It used to be my old job, you know. Come on, give me the headphones.
Yes, sir. There you are. I'll see the chief.
Hello?
Hello? Police headquarters?
Right?
Is Phil Sherman there, please?
Who, Phil Sherman? Why, I don't know. I'll see. Who is this?
Well, never mind, please. Just tell him Sylvia called.
Little Bush's sister, eh? Oh, Sweeney.
Is that you, Edward?
Yeah, this is Edward.
This is Joe.
Hello, Joe. What's up?
Say, is there anyone on duty tonight down around First Avenue between 2nd and Virginia? Davis Lumber Company.
Anyone on duty, First Avenue between... No, nobody there tonight.
Thanks, Edward. I'll be seeing you.
Sweeney, hurry up.
Yes, Captain. Ready.
Take the board. Take these headphones. Yes. Remember your orders.
Yes, sir. Shall I flash everybody now, Captain?
Edwards will be in jail any minute now. Yes, give him the works. And remember, Sweeney, tell those squad cars no sirens within hearing distance. Davis Lumber Company, right. First Avenue between 2nd and Virginia. Oh, Chief, you all set?
All cars go to Davis Lumber Company, First Avenue.
We've got 'em red-handed. Men all posted, Captain?
All ready, Chief.
All right.
Let him have it.
Line 'em up over there.
All right. Come on, line up, you hypocrite.
All right.
9 burglars. And 5 of your own policemen. 5 more blots on the Seattle police.
Look out, Chief. Look out.
Oh, he got me. Oh.
Nice work, Sherman. He'd have plugged the chief if you hadn't got him.
Thanks, Sherman.
It's all right, Chief. I owed it to you for giving me this chance.
Oh, I wanna...
Who are you? What do you want to say?
I'm Joe Armstrong. I killed Night Watchman. I shot him. Oh.
Joe Armstrong, the killer of the Night Watchman. Well, that's one member of the Phantom Gang who won't have to stand trial. Come on, Seattle's finest. Down to the jail to meet your pal Edwards. You're going for a ride in your own wagon.
Again when truth and justice triumph in the name of the law.
Thanks very much for joining us for Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We hope you always feel welcome to return. We'll be broadcasting again from 8 to 11 p.m. Central Time next Sunday night, the 9th of June, 2024. Until then, sleep tight. This is a production of